not normally that loud. What am I doing? Emails.
Good evening. I am calling the Lower Saucon Township Council meeting to order. It is now 6:37 p.m. Do we have any informational items from the manager?
Thank you, Madam President. This meeting is being broadcast via YouTube and is being recorded for future use. And also, I ask that the public and council bear with staff as we transition from board docs to the diligent platform, as there probably will be a little bit of hiccups learning the new technology. That's all I have.
Thank you very much. Can I have a roll call? Stacy, please.
Ms. Ray?
Here.
Mr. Gress?
Here.
Mr. Heimbecker?
Here.
Ms. Optoff Cordero?
Here.
Ms. De Leon?
Here.
Also with us tonight is our acting township manager, Jay Finnegan, our director of finance, Patty Caronia, our solicitor, Mr. Gazuzian, our township engineer, Brian Cucker, our chief of police, Chief Barnt is here, and myself, Stacy Werkheiser, secretary.
Thank you very much. Can everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We did hold an executive session this evening. I'll turn it over to our solicitor, Mr. Gazuzian, to explain.
Thank you. We met in executive session approximately 6:15. This evening, we discussed issues with regard to real estate and potential litigation. No official action was taken, and there's no requirement to change anything on the agenda with regard to the executive session. Thank you.
Thank you. Junior council reports?
None of them are tonight.
Okay. Thank you very much. We have public comment procedure. It's out in the hallway, but we do have two public comment periods. One towards the beginning of the meeting, which is on agenda items only. That is 3 minutes. And then at the end of the meeting, you can speak on any matter, whether it's on the agenda or not. So when we get to that portion of the meeting, we will invite residents to come forward. But first, we're going to do presentations and recognitions. We have a number of resolutions. The first is Resolution 37-2026, recognition of National Police Week, May 10th through May 16th. Resolution 37-2026 has been prepared honoring peace officers for their bravery, dedication, and heroism, and designates May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day, with May 10th through 16th, 2026 designated as Police Week in Lower Saucon Township. And I am going to turn it over to Mr. Gress to read the resolution.
All right. Whereas in 1962, Congress authorized and President Kennedy proclaimed May 15th of each year Peace Officers Memorial Day in honor of the federal, state, and municipal officers who have been killed or disabled in the line of duty, further designating the calendar week in which May 15th falls as Police Week, and has directed that flags be flown at half-staff on Peace Officers Memorial Day. And whereas in every community, law enforcement officers are committed to the preservation of life and property, risking their lives to protect us by providing law and order and serving the cause of justice. And whereas law enforcement officers, including members of the Lower Saucon Township Police Department, accept a profound responsibility and work to uphold our laws, safeguard our rights and our freedoms. And whereas we honor the heroism and dedication of all law enforcement officers, especially those who have paid the ultimate price with their lives. And whereas across the nation, Police Week is observed with ceremonies, including the hanging of a blue bough or ribbon to honor law enforcement officers who have sacrificed their lives in the line of duty to honor those who still strive to keep us safe. And whereas all citizens are encouraged to express their deep appreciation to the men and women who risk their lives to guard and protect us. Now there be it resolved that Council of Lower Saucon Township, Victoria Optoff Cordero, President, Priscilla De Leon, Vice President, Hunter Gress, Chad Heimbecker, and Laura Ray, Council members, wish to recognize and honor peace officers for their bravery, dedication, and heroism. and that May 15th, 2026 be designated as Peace Officers Memorial Day, May 10th through 16th, 2026 as Police Week in Lower Saucon Township.
Thank you, Hunter. I will entertain a motion to approve Resolution 37, 2026, recognizing National Police Week. Do I have a motion?
I will make that motion.
Second it?
Thank you. And I do invite at this time all council members to provide comment. And if you would also like to comment on the other resolutions that we have, recognizing our various other first responders and staff in the township, I welcome that comment also. So I'll turn it down. Priscilla, would you like to make a comment?
Yes, hold on one second. Can you start at the other end, please?
Sure. Chad, would you
I'll
like to
take it.
start?
Yeah, I can't. The microphone, thank you, yes. I'd like to express my thanks to the law enforcement officers of Lower Saucon Township Police Department who have served our community well, and myself included on a personal level. You know, it's one of those things when you need them and they show up, that their professionalism, their response time, their diligence, their care, their compassion shows the humanity of who they are as individuals and upstanding members of our community, and I thank them sincerely. Thank you.
Thank you, Chad. Laura?
Sure. We're doing comment like for all our resolutions, I guess.
Are we doing
at
all of
once, Right?
Yes, we are doing all of them.
We're doing it at-
Chad, do you
We'll
want
do
to
one at a time.
you want to go?
Do one at a time.
For comments, one at a time.
We'll comment one at a time.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
I will also thank the police for their services. I've been lucky probably not to need their services, but maybe once for an odd circumstance. But they're always here, and they do a great job, and we are lucky to have such a good force. So thank you all.
Hunter?
Yeah. Every year you have these presentation recognitions recognizing our police department. Obviously, we're all going to say thank you. You guys do a fantastic job. And it just seems like too little. Our police department is incredible. We have great services. They take care of our residents. They act with professionalism. And I think just saying thank you to them and we appreciate what they do is far too little for what they do. But I am very grateful for them, and I'm glad we can at least do something small here to recognize them.
Thank you, Hunter. Priscilla?
Okay. Our police officers carry a profound responsibility in safeguarding this community. We honor their dedication and we remember those who made the ultimate sacrifice in service to public safety. And I can only say, I remember one time I had to have the police there and they were very professional. And I honestly can say I really get no complaints about the police department. So Chief, that's through your efforts. That's not the right word, but you know what I mean. And so thank you, and be safe out there. So.
Thank you, Priscilla. I will just echo what everybody else has said, but I also want to say that one of the most wonderful things I think about our police force is the effort that they make to have a connection with every member of our community and to learn about the different people that live in our community. And that's very important because when there's an emergency, both the officers and the residents feel a sense of peace and the ability to trust one another. And I think that's a very important component. And I do want to thank the chief for making that a priority. Especially with the children's programming and the different times in which the police demonstrate things for the children. It really makes a difference. And I think our children look up to our police as they should in a very positive way. So I want to just highlight that as another wonderful component of our police force. So with that, I will take a roll call.
Ms. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Gress?
Yes.
Ms. Aptoff Cordero?
Yes.
Mr. Heimbecker?
Yes.
Ms. De Leon?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you very much. I do have the resolution for Chief Bart up here for you. Next, we have Resolution 38, 2026, recognizing International Firefighters Day as May 4th, 2026. Resolution 38, 2026 has been prepared to recognize the volunteers who serve on Lower Saucon Fire Rescue in conjunction with International Firefighters Day, which occurs on Monday, May 4th, 2026. And I invite Laura Ray to read this resolution.
Sure. As she said, this resolution is recognizing and honoring firefighters for their bravery, dedication, and heroism, and designating May 4th, 2026 as Firefighters Day in Lower Saucon Township. Whereas in 1736, Benjamin Franklin founded the first volunteer fire company, Union Fire Company, in Philadelphia, making Pennsylvania the birthplace of the volunteer fire service in North America. And whereas Lower Saucon Township has one volunteer fire department, which operates a total of 4 fire stations. And whereas firefighters perform selfless tasks quietly and often without the recognition they deserve, risking their lives daily to protect the lives and property of the residents of this township. And whereas changes in society and in the environment have increased the dangers these individuals face daily in the performance of their duties as protectors of the residents and property of this township. And whereas the increased number of motor vehicle crashes, brush fires, and general calls for service have placed firefighters in greater danger than ever before in the history of firefighting. And whereas the time firefighters devote to protecting the lives and property of residents of Lower Saucon Township represents time taken away from their families. And whereas May 4th annually serves as International Firefighters Day, a worldwide celebration that started in 1999. And whereas International Firefighters Day serves as a time to thank current and past firefighters for their contributions and to remember those men and women who have made the ultimate sacrifice to save and protect lives in their neighborhoods. Now therefore be it resolved that the Council of Lower Saucon Township, Victoria Optoff Cordero, President, Priscilla De Leon, Vice President, Hunter Gress, Chad Heimbecker, and Laura Ray, council members, wish to recognize and honor firefighters for the bravery, dedication, and heroism, and that May 4th, 2026 be designated as Firefighters Day in Lower Saucon Township.
Thank you, Laura. I will entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion to approve Resolution 38-2026.
I'll second that.
Okay. Comments on firefighters? Priscilla?
Yes, our volunteer firefighters serve quietly, professionally, and at a great personal risk. Their commitment to protecting lives and property in Lower Saucon deserves our full recognition. And, you know, just like all the volunteers, they miss family functions, they're interrupted their dinners. You know, they really put a lot of time and effort and professionalism. So really appreciate what you do out there, but be safe.
Hunter?
No, Priscilla pretty much covered all the bases there, but again, like I said, with the police department, it feels like just a day of recognition, and us all sitting up here voting yes to a resolution doesn't really do justice. It's not a proper thank you. And you can say thank you all you want, but there's no way we can repay these people who volunteer their time and put their lives on the line to protect us, our lives, property, and keep everyone safe. So big thank you again to our fire department as well.
Thank you, Hunter. Laura?
Sure. Well, I just want to emphasize the word volunteer for our firemen. So that is something that really distinguishes them from some of the other things. They truly are giving up their personal lives because, you know, they work their full-time job and then they do this as a side gig, sort of. They do have their family holidays interrupted, their evening meals, and all sorts of things. And I've learned so much from them being on the Fire Services Committee, and one thing they say over and over and over, they're not in it for the recognition, but you know, they certainly deserve any recognition that they're given. Especially, I know they noted that there was 3 junior firefighters that just completed their firefighter 1 training. So I think that takes over 120 hours, is that right, Hunter? Something like that. It's a lot. And when you think that these teenagers that are, you know, in high school, putting that much time into something, it really says a lot. And, you know, with their upbringing, their parents raising them to be committed to volunteer for their community, it says a lot for them. So I really admire and thank all of our firefighters.
How many volunteers do we have?
They changed 65 members,
Yeah, I wanna
maybe,
say
something like
65?
that.
Sounds right, somewhere around there.
Fluctuates a little.
Okay. And how many calls did they make? Something like 900.
I believe
remember.
it was over 900 this year, yeah.
900
Or
calls.
last year.
And most of those are motor vehicle, right?
I don't know the breakdown off the top of my head.
Okay. But that's like 3 calls a day. 3 calls a day. That's a lot of work for people who don't get paid for what they do. And we recognize them with a day, not a whole week. They don't get a week. Why don't we do a week? We should do a
Yeah.
week. Everybody else gets a week. They should get a week.
That's what I said.
Um,
It's international.
okay. I
Somebody
don't know.
else
It
made
should be
it up.
Firefighters Week. They should all get a week. Everybody should get a week. Yeah, I luckily have not had to call the fire department yet. But I know that when I do, that they're gonna show up on time quickly and they're gonna take care of what needs to get done. They're diligent and responsible and, yeah, kudos to all of them that volunteer their time, to the community. And, without them, you know, we'd be facing a significant financial burden. What's the ballpark on how much it would cost us if we didn't have a volunteer firefighter department? How many millions of dollars would that cost us in the township?
Yeah. 4 million.
$4 million. And they get a day. So thank you to all Lower Saucon Fire Rescue. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Chad. I echo all of your comments. Thank you for everything that you've said. I also, with Laura, have served on the executive committee, and you learn a lot, and you also are humbled to see how much they do day in and day out that we don't see because it's all done behind the scenes and they don't want recognition. So I'm happy that we can at least provide this thank you. But when you see them in the community, some of them are in public works and some of, you know, a lot of them are in the community, please say thank you. I'll take a roll call.
Did we do a motion?
We did a motion.
Did we do the motion?
Oh,
We
you
did the
voted.
motion.
Did
Yeah.
you vote?
Yeah.
You voted already.
Grass, or Mr. Grass?
Yes.
Sorry, Ms. Aptoff Cordero?
Yes.
Mr. Heimbecker?
Yes.
Ms. De Leon?
Yes.
Ms. Ray?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Next, we have Resolution 39, 2026, which is recognizing National Public Works Week, May 17th through May 23rd, 2026. Resolution 39, 2026 has been prepared to recognize the Public Works employees for their hard work and dedication, and to recognize May 17th through May 23rd as Public Works Week in Lower Saucon Township. And I will turn that over to Chad to read the resolution.
Yeah, I'll take this one. Resolution recognizing Public Works employees for their hard work and dedication, and to designate May 17th through the 23rd, 2026 as Public Works Week in Lower Saucon Township. Whereas citizens are served every day by public employees at the federal, state, county, and municipal levels, and whereas the efforts of these dedicated employees directly enhance the quality of life in our communities across the nation, and whereas Lower Saucon Township is proud to be served by a team of hardworking and committed public works employees that provide essential services to ensure the safety, health, and well-being of our residents. And whereas these responsibilities include maintaining township roads, paving streets, and keeping roads safe and passable during all storms. And whereas the Public Works employees in Lower Saucon Township not only maintain our road infrastructure, they also maintain our parks, public pavilions, and the Saucon Rail Trail, keeping these shared spaces clean, safe, and beautiful for all to enjoy. And whereas the Public Works Department contributes to cost-saving projects such as culvert installations, park development, and stormwater mitigation efforts, and whereas these employees are on call during emergency events to ensure public safety, and whereas the value and importance of the work performed by the Public Works Department often goes unseen, yet their contributions are essential to the daily operations of our community, and whereas all citizens are encouraged to express their appreciation to the employees of the Public Works Department for the contributions they make every day to our health, safety, comfort, and quality of life. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Council of Lower Saucon Township, Victoria Althoff Caldero, President Priscilla De Leon, Vice President Hunter Gress, myself, Chad Heimbecker, and Laura Ray, council members, wish to recognize and honor Public Works employees for their hard work and dedication and designate May 17th through the 23rd, 2026 as Public Works Week in Lower Saucon Township.
Thank you, Chad. I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Chad.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you, Hunter. I will start off with comments on the Public Works Department. I think a lot of what they do, again, is behind the scenes, and we don't realize how much they provide a benefit to our community. They are out in all different weather all day long, doing all kinds of stuff, and I'm happy that I know our township is now finally moving forward and at least providing them some space that they can properly get cleaned off and have a workroom that is at least in the 20th century, if not the 21st century. But I do want to thank them for everything that they do. They are very responsive, and you know, we get a lot of great comments I get from a lot of people about how much that they do. So I want to say thank you to them. Chad, go ahead.
Yeah, I have a history of public works, not here locally, but nationally and internationally. I do training in guardrail and roadway safety devices that I've been working with for about 30 years. So I've dealt with a lot of different public works. And without a doubt, what they provide as a service to the community is something that we all interact with, and you don't even realize it. The number one role of municipal government is maintaining our roads, and that's the job of the Public Works Department. When we have inclement weather, snow, ice, they're out there plowing, salting, making sure our roads are safe and passable, maintaining signs, safety infrastructure, obviously our parks that we all appreciate and use, that add to the quality of life within our community. And the stormwater management is another aspect of this too, making sure that the rainwater is properly contained, maintained, and distributed correctly through the infrastructure systems that we have for that. So they contribute a lot to our community, and I appreciate what they do. Thank you.
Thank you, Chad. Laura?
Okay. Yes, I would like to ditto that. Our Public Works do an awful lot of things. We have like top-notch parks because of them. They're very versatile, the employees that we have, and they seem always willing to jump in and do whatever it takes, regardless of the project. So they're quite impressive, their skills. So I thank our Public Works Department.
Thank you. Hunter?
Yeah, I mean, our Public Works, as it's been said, is incredible. A lot of times you'll see them during emergencies right alongside the police department and the fire department assisting, whether it be down trees, snowfall, issues with the road, you name it. Public Works will be out there assisting and making sure that residents are safe and that everything's cleaned up after a terrible storm. They save us a boatload of money by avoiding having to use contractors for a lot of our projects, including on our parks and our roads. And they are an essential asset of the township. And again, a thank you for them is just not enough. But that's all I can really say is thank you, and we appreciate the work they do.
Priscilla?
Okay, so Public Works is the backbone of daily township operations. Their steady, often unseen work keeps our roads safe, and our parks maintained and our infrastructure functioning. And they do a great job, and they're not thanked enough, and like everyone else. So I just want to heartfelt thank you. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Priscilla. When you see them out and about, please say thank you. Roll call, please.
Ms. Aptoff Cordero?
Yes.
Mr. Heimbecker?
Yes.
Ms. De Leon?
Yes.
Ms. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Gress?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you, Stacy. Next, we have Resolution 40-2026, which is recognizing National EMS Week, May 17th through May 23rd. Resolution 40-2026 has been prepared to recognize EMS professionals for providing their wide range of medical interventions to support and care for everyone. The week of May 17th through 23rd is dedicated to all EMS professionals in our community who care for all, wherever and whenever called upon. Priscilla, would you like to read this resolution?
Sure. So, resolution recognizing Dewey Fire Company Ambulance Squad for their hard work and dedication, and to designate May 17th through the 23rd, 2026 as EMS Week in Lower Saucon Township. Whereas Dewey Fire Company was founded in 1897, located at Durham Street, Hellertown Borough. And whereas due to the need for emergency medical services, Dewey Fire Company Ambulance was created on June 27, 1947, responding to their first call on June 19, 1947, at the Hellertown Pool. And whereas Dewey Fire Company Ambulance started paying staff for day coverage in September of 1998. And whereas they began coverage of the entire Lower Saucon Township in 1998, providing basic life support services when Sawaico Ambulance closed its doors. And whereas as the demands of their services increased, Dewey Fire Company Ambulance expanded service to 7 days a week in 2001, adding that second floor to their building in 2004, increasing service to 24/7 coverage in 2005, or 05, I don't know. And whereas Dewey Fire Company Ambulance received certification to provide advanced life support services in January 2010, and whereas currently they are staffed with 55 certified personnel, of which 21 are paramedics, 31 are EMTs, and 3 are volunteers. And whereas after 28 years of providing services to Lower Saucon Township, all citizens are encouraged to express their appreciation to the employees of the Dewey Fire Company Ambulance for their contributions they make every day to our health and safety, to the residents of Lower Saucon Township and surrounding communities. Now therefore be it resolved that the Council of Lower Saucon Township, Victoria Aptoff Cordero, President, Priscilla De Leon, Vice President, Hunter Gress, Chad Heimbecker, and Laura Ray, Council members, wish to recognize and honor emergency medical service employees for their selfless dedication and to provide life-saving services, and designate May 17th through 23rd, 2026 as EMS Week in Lower Saucon Township, adopted and enacted this 15th day of April 2026.
Thank you, Priscilla. I will entertain a motion for that.
I'll make that motion.
And I will second that motion.
All right, thank you. Hunter, would you like to go first?
Sure. Pretty much just echoing my comments that I made for the last resolutions. EMS providers, again, are right there with our police and fire department, responding on the worst day of your life and hopefully making it a better day for you. What more is there to say? I mean, they save lives, quite literally. Without them, we'd be in a lot worse shape here in the township, I feel like. And again, a thank you for them is not enough. A resolution for them is not enough, but at least it's some way we can try and honor them.
Thank you. Laura?
Sure. Yeah, we're very lucky actually to have Dewey EMS. A lot of communities in our area are facing issues with keeping their EMS services afloat. So consider ourselves very lucky. And I thank them for their services.
Thank you, Priscilla.
I'd like to say that Dewey's EMS professionals provide life-saving care with skill and reliability. And after decades of services to Lower Saucon, they continue to respond whenever our residents need them. And I guess I'd like to add, and I would like to thank all of these dedicated professionals for their essential roles they play in keeping our community safe, supported, and functioning every day. And I guess, unfortunately, I have to say that I've called Dewey or 911 and Dewey responded too many times. But they were right there helping me and getting me to the hospital. And I was very, what's the word I want, like, I knew they were taking care of me, so, thank you.
Thank you, Priscilla. I will just say, this is another special thing that we have in our community. It's nice that you can be a member of Dewey and you can provide an annual donation for them. And then they are able to provide services to us. I know a lot of people appreciate that. It's just one less thing that they have to look at when they're looking at a large medical bill going to the hospital. So I do want to thank them and remember that in the community. We have that as a special, it's something special that we don't want to ever lose. So, but I do thank them, and I echo what everybody else has said. It's not enough to do a resolution, but Chad has to go too. So go ahead, Chad.
Yeah, I would like to thank them for their service as a keystone of the community. I had the opportunity last year. I've been going to the Dewey Carnival with my kids every year, riding the Gravitron, spinning around, having a good time, shooting the ducks, and not the real ones, but and last year I had the opportunity. I volunteered to flip some burgers with the guys in the pavilion there. So I got to hang out with Matt Simkovich and other gentlemen from that group, as well as Williams Township volunteer firefighters as well. A lot of good guys in that community that care a lot about what they do and the people in it. So I think I just tried to search it up real quick. I think the Dewey Carnival is coming up mid-July. If I'm looking at the website and it's right, it's saying the 7th through the 11th, but I'm not sure. So if you get a chance, make it out to that and thank them for what they do.
Thank you. I will entertain a roll call now.
Mr. Heimbecker?
Yes.
De Leon?
Yes.
Ms. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Gress?
Yes.
Stop Cordero?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you very much. Next, we will have Lower Saucon Township Police Department's annual report presented by Chief Barnett. I welcome him to the podium. Thank you.
Thank you. Before I start, I'd like to thank council on behalf of all the officers of the department, the clerical staff, and myself for passing the resolution and your continued support throughout my entire career here of 36 years, still going strong. So thank you. I'm not going to read this word for word, but I would like to highlight the important. This will be posted on our Crime Watch page starting tomorrow morning. So it will be for public view. And if anybody ever has any questions, feel free to reach out and contact me. Stacy, you got it? There you go. So I will read this one. This is a message from myself. It is both an honor and a privilege to present the 2025 annual report. Above all, I extend my sincere gratitude to the dedicated officers of this department, as well as our non-sworn administrative assistant. Their professionalism, commitment, and dedication to service make all of our accomplishments possible. In 2025, the department handled 4,074 calls for service. The officers patrolled 155,061 miles, made 115 criminal arrests, initiated 1,845 traffic enforcement actions, resulting in 1,126 traffic citations, 67 non-traffic citations, 384 written warnings, 36 parking tickets, and I don't know how many verbal warnings because we don't keep track of them. They also responded to 238 motor vehicle crashes, consisting of 102 reportable crashes and 136 non-reportable. The difference between reportable and non-reportable: reportable is any vehicle that is towed or if there is injury. Non-reportable would be a fender bender in a parking lot, a deer strike, something like that. In addition, our bike patrol officers also covered 172 miles throughout the township, and I'll add a little bit in later on that. In addition to answering the calls for service and traffic enforcement, our department remains committed to improving the quality of life for all of our residents and commuters who travel through this township. The Lower Saucon Police Department's officers and administrative staff are committed to providing the highest level of service to our citizens and our community. As the dynamics of our community continue to evolve, the police police department will respond by identifying and implementing innovative policing methods and techniques to adapt to the changing conditions. In partnership with the community, the Lower Saucon Police Department is committed to providing professional police services to our citizens and our community. It is our goal to have a transparent police operation for all community members, which will continue to strengthen our partnership with the community we serve. There were so many achievements and accomplishments in 2025, and I look forward to continuing this important work in 2026, along with the support of our dedicated officers and, most importantly, the community we serve. The next page has our mission statement and objectives, which is posted on our Crime Watch page, as well as the front lobby of the department that we have to adhere to as per policy and code of conduct. The page that's on the screen now is the current organizational chart for the department. As you can see, if you start from the bottom, Stacy, there are 4 patrol teams, each led by a patrol sergeant. There's 2 night shift patrol teams, which are on the right side, and 2 day shift patrol teams. Our officers work steady shifts. Half the department works steady night shift, half the department works steady day shift, which means we also have to have a steady supervisor for each shift. They are permitted to switch every year by seniority, and that's agreed upon by the police association themselves, and then they report it back to me. From there, the patrol officers, they answer to the sergeants, who in turn, the entire patrol division answers to the lieutenant. The lieutenant is also responsible to oversee the detective sergeant, who then, as you go up the organizational chart, there's an administrative clerk, and then myself. As you can see, the span of control never exceeds 5, which is important when you're running an organization, especially with command staffs like that. Coming in another month, we will be adding the other detective. Our last officer will complete his field training in May, I'm happy to say. So there will be 1 more detective box under the detective sergeant, and he will answer to that detective sergeant, and they will both answer to the lieutenant. Next page has to do with our accreditation through the Pennsylvania Chiefs of Police Association. We have been accredited since 2019, recently receiving our 4th reaccreditation. You can read through the standards in there. There's numerous standards that we have to meet every year as groups, and every 3 years we go through a reassessment by the PA Chiefs of Police. Our 4th reaccreditation was late 2025. In the next 3 years, we'll receive our 5th, which will give us premier status, and then that'll set us on to the next level. We'll only have to do it every 5 years. Okay. The next page starts with training. Every police officer in the state of Pennsylvania is required to go through a minimum of 12 credit hours of in-service training each year. This can be done at the police academy or local community college that support the academy, or you can do it online. Our department chooses to do it online during shift at roll call or at breaks. That way we don't have to send and cover shifts to go to the police academy. The training is completed, as I said, online. Consists of vehicle code, crimes code, and legal updates, as well as various other police topics. It could be survival, it could be defensive driving, it could be special needs, it could be impaired driving, something like that. There's always 2 electives. In addition to the MOPAC training, officers annually in our department complete the following training, which are firearms qualification and training for all department authorized weapons. That can include their duty weapon, or patrol rifle, or any off-duty weapons that they carry. CPR, first aid, AED, and that also includes tourniquet, less lethal, which is taser, and control and defensive tactics. Those are all done in-house by our own instructors who we send through the training, which saves a considerable amount of money to the township and time. As you go down below, I am big on training, and you will see there's a large list of training. The list that follows is all of the elective training that officers have chosen to go to. Everything is posted in the department. If they are interested, they notify me, and I do everything I can to send them, which I believe is huge when it comes to career development. The next, right there. The next one, leadership development and incident command training. Our department currently has 11 supervisors and officers who have successfully completed the Trilogy program through FBI LEADA, which demonstrates our strong commitment to advanced leadership training and organizational effectiveness. If you remember, we had the FBI LEADA here and we got the Department Trilogy Award. And now, since all of our supervisors are, I believe we sent 4 patrol officers that have completed it. And my goal is to continue, and that gives them all an opportunity, leadership role moving forward in their career. In addition, all of our department supervisors have completed a minimum of ICS 300 and ICS 400 training. If you ever took 300, 400, it's long, it's drawn out, and Jay can explain that. And what that does is it ensures they're prepared to effectively manage complex incidents and provide coordinated leadership during a large-scale and multi-agency event. These accomplishments reflect the department's ongoing investment in preparedness, professional standards, and community safety. And I'm proud to say that our policy is written for incident command, and we have taken that over the top by having our supervisors complete the 300 and 400. So kudos to all of them. Specialized units, our bike patrol, as I stated before, they patrolled 172 miles within the township. We have 8 members who are certified by the International Police Mountain Bike Association. And we also have 1 instructor in-house, which saves us a lot of time for our research every year. We utilize 3 volcanic police mountain bikes to patrol the township, and we patrol on the roadways, developments, Saucon Valley Rail Trail. So if you see them out, give them a shout, give them a wave. Those are pictures of the bikes on there. K9 unit. We have a highly trained K9 unit, including obviously the handle and the K9. They form a powerful working team that improves safety and efficiency and effectiveness and provides major advantages to not only us, but other law enforcement agencies and the community itself. It enhances officer safety, and the bottom sentence pretty much sums it up. The presence of a police K9 alone often de-escalates situations as suspects are less likely to resist or they'll comply. The minute that K9 vehicle pulls up, whether the dog's barking or they see K9 unit on the side, it usually works. They also have superior detection abilities for narcotics, explosives, firearms, ammunition, or tracking missing people. Their nose is about 100,000 times stronger than humans. And the big one is community engagement. You've all saw Titus out in the public doing his demos, doing the backwards walk on his hind legs, school demonstrations, positive interactions, and they've really become an ambassador for the police department. And there he is, he's 7 years old. The next page is a summary of training and deployments by the day of the week. You can just go down through. It's pretty much a graph by day of the week, training by month. He does go through a lot of training, but that saves us in the long run if we ever have to deploy the dog. Commercial motor vehicle enforcement, or MICSAP. This promotes safe transportation and reduces commercial motor vehicle involved crashes through consistent, uniform, and effective safety programs. And you can the program goals are listed below. Removes unsafe drivers, hazardous vehicles, requires repairs, vehicle defects, appropriate remedial action, documents violations, and gives credit to carriers and drivers that are in compliance. What it involves is an inspection of the truck. There's 3 levels. Some take more time than others, or we can actually weigh the trucks for overweight vehicles. The last paragraph, go up, Steve. Oh. That's okay. Last year, our commercial vehicle enforcement officer, we have 1. He's assigned a minimum of 24 hours a month to conduct commercial vehicle enforcement throughout the township. That's through an MOU with the Pennsylvania State Police. When we send them to training, you have to sign the MOU that you're gonna provide them at least a minimum. He may also conduct this enforcement while he's on his designated patrol shift or may be called out when on off duty. He must also attend mandatory annual training and testing to maintain his certification. In 2025, he completed 76 inspections, which resulted in 249 violations, 24 out of service violations, 47 traffic citations, and 1 arrest. And you may think, well, there's only 47 traffic citations. The main goal for him is to get the trucks in compliance so they're safe to drive, not to cite. The reports go to the federal government and they can be taken out of service and then they can't be moved until they're repaired and the owner or the operator shows proof. Next, please. 2025 highlights up top. I'm not going to go through them all. Some big ones on there. We deployed new body cameras to replace our last ones. Deployed 4 flock license plate cameras to assist with criminal investigations. Obviously, we hired our last full-time officer so we can move our detective forward. Conducted 10 DUI roving patrols, and we brought on the first responder chaplain to the department, which is well received by the department. The last part, 2025 community engagement and outreach. There's too many in there for me to go through. You can read them all, but we will continue, and hopefully for 2026, I can make the list longer. And while I'm on that subject, if you're not doing anything this Saturday from 10 to 1, we're having a touch truck out here on the complex. The next 2 pages is a summary report of our UCR reporting that gets filed every month by our lieutenant to the state. And if you just go down a couple lines right there, you'll see part 1 offenses. I can't. Just go down a little bit. Right in this area, part 1 offenses. You'll see 43 going across. Part 1 offenses are violent crime in the township. Part 2 offenses are non-violent crime in the township. So when you see 43 on there, it may look like a little, but we should all be proud that we have a strong police force that's out there and we don't have a lot of violent crime in the township. As you go down through to the next page, you will see at the bottom, total part 2, 167. That does not count as all of our calls for service. You heard me say before we had over 4,000. So we answer a whole lot more calls than are listed in our UCR, such as dog calls, stuff like that, burglar alarms. They don't get reported to the state.
Chief, can I ask a question?
Sure.
What does the cleared column mean?
The cleared column means the amount of offenses that are cleared by the department. So when we file it, we may make an arrest, whether it's that day, a week later, a year later, and then it gets refiled and they keep track of it. So if you go back to the part 1 offenses on the first page, you will see we had 43 and we cleared 25. So that's over 50%. Some of them, I'd have to go through all of them, but they're burglaries and stuff like that. This page is obviously a pie chart which shows a breakdown in percentages for part 1 and part 2 offenses. The next one is violent versus property or other. You can see the violent crime is very minimal. And the last one is the drug breakdown in percentages. You can see most of our drug violations are marijuana violations. This one is a trends chart for the year 2025. You will see the big ones would be burglary in the red, larceny or theft. There was 1 or 2 motor vehicle thefts and an aggravated assault. The next one is a part 1, as I said before, the violent crime, a comparison from the year 2024 to 2025. And that's going to show you that we did have more violent crime or part 1 offenses in 2024, and that was due to the increase in burglaries. These last 2 pages are a list for all of our calls for service for the entire year. As I said before, they're not all reported to the state. As you're going down through the numbers and you get to anything under a 2,700, they get reported to the state. That's the easy way to remember it. And anything over are just regular calls for service, lost, missing property, motor vehicle accidents, suspicious people, stuff like that. And if you get to the last, it will actually have the tally of 4,074. And like I said, that will be on our Crime Watch page for the public to review, and the township can put it on their website at a good spot.
Thank you, Chief. Before you step down, I just want to check with council. Does anybody have any questions for the chief about the report?
I just have one question. At the bottom, it says, hang-ups, 361 hang-ups?
911 hang-ups, 360.
Can I tell you a funny story?
Pardon?
Can I tell you a funny story? So I have one of those watches, okay? And I have to wear it on this arm, right? So I have to turn it so the little button thing, right? So I'm laying on my sofa watching a movie, and I heard this little voice going, "Hello, who's there?" I'm like, who the heck's in my house? Here, I by accident dialed 911, and I'm like, oh my God. I said,
happens a lot.
but I was just the way I had my hand bent, like pushed the button and called 911. So I probably was one of those calls.
I got a couple questions for you.
Go ahead, Chad.
Do you know when National Night Out is going to be?
National Night Out is the first Tuesday in August. I think the 6th.
First Tuesday in August.
First Tuesday in August.
Okay, yeah, that's
It'll
fun.
be from 5 to 8 at the township complex.
Here again,
Yes.
okay. When you're out on the rail trail with your bikes, are you checking for speed of anybody? Because there's
No,
motorized.
I'm sorry, what the bike patrol guys will do is they'll obviously engage with the community, but if they do see any, excessive speed or, those fast e-bikes or something like that, they'll attempt to warn them and educate them on what the laws are.
Is there a speed limit on the rail trail?
I believe there is one by the Rail Trail Commission. I don't remember what it is.
Yeah,
I
I
know
wanted
there's
to,
a minimum.
I'm on the committee, and we were talking about how we would enforce that. That would be a question for.
Nothing we could enforce by that.
Enforcement
We have
on that.
lines that are calibrated on the roads and stuff.
Okay,
like that.
good.
I think it's more, honestly, an education thing, and I think through our social media sites and our bike patrol officers, we can hope to get that work.
Yeah, because anecdotally, I've been out there and people are zipping on these e-bikes and some of the unicycle ones that you can stand on, the gyroscopic ones with their boom box just rolling right, doing 40 miles an hour down there. And I think that's a little bit dangerous. I also want to make a comment that I'm thankful that none of our officers were injured during that incident on Apple Butter a month ago. Very unfortunate how that played out, but I'm glad that nobody was hurt in all of that. The last comment here on the motor carrier, you're doing a very minimal amount of time on this, right?
That's a minimum.
A minimum.
24 hours. So he's actually scheduled 24 hours a month. He's taken off his regular patrol duties to do that.
Do you think there's a need for more time dedicated to that?
I believe there is a need for more time. And now that we're up to full staffing, I may be able to adjust that, give him another 12 or 24 hours a month.
A month?
Yes.
Yeah, and where are you seeing in the township, like a road? Where are we having
He
these?
does his enforcement anywhere. It could be 378, 412, Easton Road, Apple Butter Road, Lower Saucon Road, Old Philadelphia Pike, Cidersville Road. He goes throughout the township. The key for him is he has to have a safe spot to pull him over and to park him out of service.
Okay. All right, well, thank you for your time again tonight and this report, very informative. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
I had along the same line too. That was the one area where I made notes on the commercial motor vehicle enforcement. Is it possible to have a second guy do that? How much training does it take to become one of those?
I don't recall the exact amount of time for the training, but it's the minimum amount of training, and then I have to get somebody that's interested in going. Fortunately, the officer that does it, he has a background in mechanic,
Okay.
and he was very interested in doing it.
I mean,
I can't force guys to take training other than their minimum, or their minimum
Okay.
requirements, but I can tell you, the officer are really good. And
well,
when it
I'll
comes
say,
up, I
yes,
post
it's
it.
impressive, with only 76 inspections to have that many citations issued. It just tells me, it's like, wow, if they could pull over twice as many trucks and inspect them, that's a big safety thing. I
And
mean,
just to clarify, when I say that, that doesn't just mean it's tractor trailers. It doesn't mean it's just dump trucks. It's
commercial?
landscaping trucks with
Yeah.
trailers, which
Okay.
are, quite frankly, there are a lot of them that are in violation.
I just had a guy drive by and his trailer fell off in front of my house.
So it's anything that's towing. It's not
I
just,
Yeah.
understand.
you know, not just tractor trailers
Okay.
or dump trucks and stuff like
It's,
that.
whatever it is, I mean, it's like, it would be great if we could convince somebody else to do this too.
Is there a
Because
break?
that's great results.
Yeah, is there a breakdown on what kind of vehicle it is?
I could get that together. I don't have it in this
No, I
report,
understand.
but I could gladly have some put together. Just give me some time, I'll get it to Jeff.
I'm kind of wondering how many garbage trucks violate.
I
Kind of
honestly
where my
wouldn't know.
head is. How many of these are garbage trucks?
But I can get that to you, Jeff.
I will echo, the other two council members in saying, I think in seeing the, commercial vehicle statistics, it seems like there may be an issue there that maybe we could devote some more resources to, so I would welcome that, and I welcome, any statistics you have on the comparison of, which type of vehicles that you've been able to capture there. The one thing I did want to ask, and you know, obviously don't have to have the information tonight, but I would love to see some statistics over time, like maybe the last 10 years, just to show like how our part 1 and part 2 crime rates have fluctuated over the years. I think that would be helpful to understand. And I know thank you for providing the update on the lieutenant position. I'm hopeful that perhaps we can start keeping track of like statistics with the cyber crime. I think it's a line item, but I know that that was one of the major concerns you had, was just the amount of time devoted to like internet searching and social media and that kind of thing.
Fraud and scams, yeah.
Yeah, so I would, I'd be interested, obviously you're getting somebody in that role now, so you don't have it
Right.
retrospectively looking, but prospectively looking, it would be nice to see how that's working, and to understand how you've been able to then diversify the different roles and what they're doing now that you have your complement of officers. But I also want to say thank you very much for putting this together and coming and presenting. It's very informative, and I think it helps our public understand what you do and the importance of what you provide to our community. But I do want to offer to the other council members for questions.
I'd just like to comment, and correct me, Chief, if I'm wrong, but the garbage trucks on Apple Butter Road, because that's a state road, right? And half of it is the city of Bethlehem and the other side's Lower Saucon. And we were always told it was hard to set up something there.
Well, I think there's a misconception everywhere. So the mix-app officer just doesn't target garbage trucks. He
No,
targets
I'm not
any
suggesting,
commercial vehicle.
and I'm not saying he does, I'm just,
Let me just add in. He also can stop vehicles on any roadway. So he could go over into Bethlehem and assist them and do it. Bethlehem can come into us. He could go up on the highway and do it. They do some joint enforcement operations, which we're going to be doing this spring, hopefully with Upper Saucon and Hellertown. They do them in Lehigh County all the time. So the roadway does not really matter. It's more a safe spot to get the vehicle pulled
over.
itself, because the officer, he actually in one of the inspections will have to get out, crawls underneath it, checks the brake lines and everything like that. So that's not something you want to do on the side of a busy roadway. You want to get them off in a pull-off or something like that.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions of council?
No,
I don't
thank
have any
you.
questions, no. Thank you.
Just
Thank
thank
the
you very
police.
much, Chief.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, Chief.
Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank everybody.
Next, we have Easton Road over East Branch Saucon Creek Bridge replacement. I believe that we do have some PennDOT representatives here, and they will be presenting the upcoming project to replace the bridge carrying SR 2006, which is Easton Road over the East Branch of Saucon Creek, and that's, I believe, the bridge that most people are familiar with that intersects Ringhofer and Easton Road right there. So I do welcome your presentation, and if there are, after your presentation, shortly thereafter is a time for public comment, so I welcome you also to stay for that period to hear if there's any comments, and then I would direct anybody that wants to speak with you about the project in more depth to meet with you out in the hallway, and I'm sure you can share your contact information, and I know there's a public comment period that's like opening now, and it's open, but go ahead.
Good evening, I'm Rebecca Himmelwright. I'm the PennDOT Consultant Project Manager for Easton Road.
Could you turn your mic so it's,
I feel, yeah, it feels like it's off, but maybe it's on.
Is it on now? Hello? Hello? Oh, now it's on.
Okay, she
Good.
went, I don't know.
Yeah, he just said.
Bigger as well.
Yeah. Some voices carry more than, our room with our ceiling is very bad with the sound depending on the tone of your voice, so
Soft voice,
I
yes.
appreciate that.
No problem. Just to start over, good evening. I'm Rebecca Himmelwright. I'm the Consultant PennDOT Project Manager for the Easton Road project, bridge replacement project. This evening, we're going to do a short presentation on the project. We also have display boards available out in the hallway, and there is information on PennDOT's website too with all the information we're presenting tonight. As mentioned, we can answer any questions out in the hallway or during the comment time. And we also have comment forms, hard copies over on that counter. They can be returned to the email or address on the form, and comment forms are also available online. Thank you.
Yeah, I was gonna pull this over to the podium, but for some reason, it is not turning on.
Can you use, do you have it on that US, would it help? You have the USB, right?
I do have the
You want my
USB.
computer? Is it not turning on for you?
No, my computer's not turning on.
Here, well, do you wanna just, you wanna put your
Could I
USB
pull that
here?
over here onto
Yeah.
the, yeah, that'd be great. Oh, yeah, that's what it is. That'll work now. I only have to click one time.
Don't send any emails from my email. There you go. Cause you have your, do you have your USB?
computers?
Oh, I thought you,
Computers.
Well, you have, or do I, will you see them? Will they
no,
go
I'll
up
see them if they go in
That's how I
presentation.
am.
there? Oh, then you don't need this, do you?
I don't, if now that mine's turning on.
I guess I misunderstood.
Just bear with us as we deal with tech.
Technical issues.
Now I'm alerted.
You got it? Okay.
But I have the clicker that will click through yours, right? Okay. Great. Okay, can everybody hear me? Great. Okay, so as Becky described, she is representing PennDOT. My background is in bridge engineering, and alongside of me over here, I have Sean Bentz with me. His background is in roadway engineering, and together we're leading the design effort for the bridge replacement project of Easton Road over East Branch, Saucon Creek. And this presentation will give you an overview of the Easton Road bridge replacement, which is here in Lower Saucon Township. And this opening slide has a photo of the bridge. So the project is located northeast of Hellertown along Easton Road. I'm assuming that many of you are familiar with this location. It's a few hundred feet downstream of where East Branch Saucon Creek crosses beneath I-78, which you can see in the image on the right. You can kind of see, if I can get this working here. This is the creek coming down here. Our bridge is circled in red, and then I'm actually going upstream like this. but upstream over here, it actually crosses under I-78 in a culvert. The bridge is located adjacent to an intersection with Ringhofer Road, which is a local road owned by Lower Saucon Township. The primary purpose of this project is to provide a functionally sufficient crossing over East Branch Saucon Creek that meets current design standards and is safe for motorists and pedestrians. A secondary purpose is to provide a widened shoulder at the intersection with Ringhofer Road. You can see in this photo, this is a perspective of standing on Easton Road looking east, and the intersection on the left-hand side is Ringhofer Road. And you can see that corner at the bridge rail. It's kind of tight for larger vehicles, and this has been an issue. So a secondary goal of the project will be to improve that condition. So this is the first of 3 official display boards for the project. You may have seen them out in the hallway on your way in. We'll leave these display boards here for public viewing for the next month. The official comment period begins today, and you're welcome to send comments and questions. I'll give you some information on how to do that at the end of the presentation. So this first view is a plan view of the project site. Easton Road is oriented left and right on this view. It's a 2-lane road with a posted speed limit of 45 miles per hour. It sees roughly 5,000 cars per day. And this graphic depicts the proposed alignment and replacement structure, and the alignment will remain as existing on a straight tangent. You can see the approach roadway work is displayed by the darker shaded areas. The proposed lanes will increase from 11 to 12 feet at the bridge. The proposed structure will include provisions for a widened left shoulder to accommodate the difficult turning movements, as I previously discussed. So you can see in gray that represents the proposed structure, and you can see it's kind of splayed and widened along the left shoulder, and that will accommodate a little additional space for wide turns. The area that you see in the red crosshatch pattern, I'm not sure if you could really see that with the lighting here, but these areas close to the ends of the structure, those represent additional required right-of-way area that PennDOT will need to, hang on one second, to build and maintain the proposed structure. Then the areas in the orange hatching, I'll point that out as well in case you can't see it. That's these outer, larger areas around the end of the structure. Those represent temporary easement that PennDOT will need to access the project site. If you've driven through this area in recent months, you may have noticed some utility construction work. UGI has underground gas lines in the vicinity of the existing bridge. Some of these gas lines have been relocated as part of an independent UGI project. That's not related to the bridge project at all. This was previously planned prior to UGI having knowledge of the bridge replacement. UGI's work is anticipated to be completed this year, and that will be completed before any construction on the bridge. And then once UGI's project is complete, it's anticipated that the bridge replacement will not impact any of the underground gas lines any further. So this slide, it's another one of the official display boards that you can see out in the hallway. This is a representation of the existing and proposed bridges. So the top 2 photos, the top graphic to the left is a typical section of the existing single-span steel I-beam bridge. It's got an open grid steel deck, and it has a curb-to-curb width of roughly 30 feet. which means basically from rail to rail, passing through the bridge is roughly 30 feet. And that's another picture of it there on the top right. The bottom photo, it'll be replaced with a precast concrete box culvert, which provides an economical solution that can be installed quickly and has low future maintenance concerns. The lower left photo is a typical section. You can see the proposed roadway template on it. I know those numbers are kind of small up on the screen there, so feel free to take a look out in the hallway, and these will also be displayed online. And then the photo on the bottom right is a section through the box culvert, so it'll convey water through that box from East Branch Saucon Creek beneath Easton Road. So the construction will take place under a full detour, and this is the detour that is proposed during construction. The detour will utilize Lower Saucon Road, Apple Butter Road, Shimersville Road, Route 412, and Cherry Lane. The detour length is roughly 7.5 miles. And then this is a preliminary look at the anticipated project schedule. Design is anticipated to wrap up in the fall of 2027, and then the construction will occur between spring and fall of 2028 with a focus on the summer months for the detour to minimize impacts to school bus routes. And on this last slide, if you scan this QR code, it'll take you to PennDOT's website and specifically to the project page for this project, where you could obtain additional information, and you can also obtain the online access to the comment and questionnaire forms. Any questions?
Thank you very much. I will start and then we'll go down the line, if that's okay. So have you looked into other alternate detour routes that were less of a distance, 7 miles? Do you have any comparison of different detour routes?
So we have looked at alternate detour routes on a state route, on a bridge that's on a state-owned road. The official detour has to be consisting of only state routes. So local traffic is free to take, local roads around the bridge. But this has been determined to be the most efficient state route detour for this project.
Okay, I'm just gonna repeat that back so I make sure I understand. Your state route detour has to only include other state routes. So you can't necessarily collaborate with the township to develop a less detour of a route with our roads in conjunction with state roads?
Correct. In extenuating circumstances when there's no other alternatives, that's the case. And Sean, you can chime in if I'm.
I believe we can collaborate with the township if you're open to it. We can have a memorandum of understanding of the conditions and things. I mean, we try to stick to state routes just to minimize the impact to the township.
Yeah, I think this is just me speaking as one individual council member, but I think our residents would appreciate, we are a rural township in a lot of sections, and so adding that would significantly increase people's commute times and just getting from one part of the township to the other. And I think that might be helpful to at least explore. It may not be feasible for various reasons that our staff determines, but
I would suggest that you are best to stick to state routes because you do not want the wear and tear and the cost to the township to have to repair municipal roads from it's taking a 6 to 12 month project, I would assume.
So that's a good point that you bring up. So the structure that has been selected in design is a structure that can be constructed in a fairly rapid manner, and we don't anticipate the detour to occur outside of the summer months. Time frame, 6 to 12, it wouldn't be that much of a duration.
Can we go back to the detour slide?
Sure.
Wait, hold
Can
on.
we pull that back up, please?
Chad, just hold on a second. We're just gonna go down one at a time. So the other question I had, I noticed you're trying to correct that turn that goes from Ringhofer to Easton Road, or at least create a safer turning radius there. I thought it would be important to share that the township has put a specific weight limit signage on Ringhofer Road, and we have a historical concern that commercial vehicles, trash trucks, and other commercial vehicles that are not using the appropriate GPS technology end up turning off of Apple Butter Road onto Ringhofer back to, excuse me, Easton Road to get on Route 78. And so, like, we don't really want to encourage that route anymore than we have to. And so I'm curious how you plan on directing those commercial vehicles out of, the direct location of the bridge replacement to make sure that we don't run into a situation where we're also getting more commercial traffic.
Right, yeah, and it is noted that Ringhofer is posted for a 10-ton maximum, which should, in theory, deter those commercial vehicles as you're describing. And we don't intend for there to be any change to that. And the correction of that curve is not intended to encourage vehicles that shouldn't be on Ringhofer. But it was noted that there have been situations where right-turning vehicles from Ringhofer onto Easton Road have actually struck and gotten stuck on the bridge, and this improved condition will at least alleviate that. I don't know that we would, as with any law, there's a law in place, but people will break them. So at least it'll alleviate the outcomes from those issues.
Do you plan on posting the detour at Apple Butter Road? When you have to do this detour, like, where's your signage going to be going?
So, Sean, you're probably more.
Yeah, we plan on proposing signage at the north end.
The microphone, please, sorry.
So there's signage proposed at the north end of Apple Butter. We also have signage, I believe, proposed on the eastern, I guess it would be the westbound approach on Easton Road, saying where it's closed. I think we have signage on the eastbound approach saying where it's closed. But particularly to your question, yes, we have signage at the north end. I don't remember the name of the road, but the other one that kind of comes in a diagonal there, we have signage there kind of saying that there's a detour in place also. So.
Okay, I would, maybe if there's a way, we can also maybe collaborate with the township on signage to make sure that I personally find that signage is never enough until you get to the closed location, and local people will find that out quickly, but I think the more signage the better. So if there's a way to make sure that we're alerting people from various places, that would be helpful. One thing I would be remiss to discuss is Easton Road has been torn up with the gas replacement, as you had indicated. And I know our residents are very eager to find out when PennDOT will be repaving Easton Road. So obviously you're here for the bridge, but we would really like to know when Easton Road will be repaved, and will that repaving be delayed because of this bridge replacement project that is anticipated in 2028?
So you're asking about the paving in conjunction with the gas line replacement?
Well, of Easton Road, yes.
I think, and I don't want to speak out of turn for PennDOT, but if the gas line was replaced by UGI, sorry, if the gas line was replaced by UGI, I believe as part of their permit, they're on the hook
for all restoration activities.
Yeah, that's the bigger concern, because they generally just patch the hole, the piping that they had to lay, so that it creates an uneven surface. And a lot of people are concerned about that.
Right.
But obviously it's a state road, so we're eager to know when PennDOT plans on repaving the road, not necessarily patching the sections of UGI. I believe that's already been done for the most part, but I'd like to know when that paving is anticipated, and whether or not the bridge project is a factor in when that repaving takes place.
I don't believe the bridge is a factor, but we can try to find out the answer, because that's not part of our, as you mentioned, it's not part of our project, so we can try to find you the answer on that.
Okay, thank you. Okay,
Right, and I guess I just wanted to point out too, so the area that you see shaded in the dark black, that is the approach roadways pavement that will be reconstructed as part of this project.
Okay. Thank you. Chad, you're up.
Go back to the detour, please.
Sure.
Yeah, nobody's gonna use that, just so you know. Everybody's gonna come down Lower Saucon and go over Apple and go down Mockingbird. So I don't want anybody in a large vehicle coming across that bridge on Lower Saucon, south on Lower Saucon from Easton, right? And I've seen this on other work where we had Easton Road closed, and we've had large tractor trailers going up, oh my God, I forgot the name. The little road that's right before where the overpass is. And so if we could make sure that we have proper signage on the south side of Lower Saucon of Easton to make sure that that's restricted. And that brings up another point, that I know that the bridge at this location is supposed to be replaced as well.
Right.
When's that?
That one will happen prior to this one, but they will not overlap.
They're not gonna overlap at all, so you guys have already taken that into consideration?
Yes, those projects, the projects will not overlap, specifically because the detour route for the State Route 2001 that you're referencing utilizes Easton Road with this bridge.
Okay. Good luck with the short radius rail, fitting it in there. On this one, it's real tight. So I'm not sure what safety improvements you can make on this, if there's any offset that you can make on these tangent terminals to get that 50-to-1 flare rate to try to reduce nuisance impacts, potentially. I'd appreciate that. And then to second the comment on the paving, if there's any way that we can kind of tandem or dovetail this project along with a repaving at the same time through the Easton Road section down to where all this construction has happened, that would be, if you're closing it anyways, you may as well take a look at that.
We'll inquire. Yep, thank you.
Good point.
Other council members, questions?
Nope.
I have a question. So you said this is like a precast culvert kind of thing, so it's like a one-piece deal?
Correct. So
Gotcha.
it comes in segments,
Okay.
but yes, it's a box, and they'll come in, say, 4 to 6 foot segments.
So in
that they'll
theory, it should
place.
go in pretty quick and easy, but I know the other bridge we had replaced on Lower Saucon Road took about 3 years, maybe we had a detour. And as you can tell, our detours are not, around the block, because we don't have a block. So they ran into all kinds of problems with moving telephone poles, Verizon, cable, all kinds of things like that, utilities, anything related. So hopefully that's on your radar to make sure that's all taken care of, because that held everything up forever.
Absolutely, and we've been communicating with utilities, doing coordination. We don't anticipate any overhead utilities to be impacted by this project. I think there's maybe one.
There's some low wires there because they flag them already,
Right.
whatever that is.
There is a wire that comes across from the corner of Ringhofer. I should get the pointer out. And it really is one that could be out of service during construction, but the rest of the overhead utilities should not be impacted. from
Okay.
what we've
Well,
found to this
whatever the
point.
lesson that was learned on Lower Saucon Road.
And I guess to address your earlier
Follow that.
point, I'm not familiar with the bridge you're referencing, but a concrete box
township road.
culvert is a very common structure type that
Right.
PennDOT uses, and I can assure you that it would be nowhere near that duration of a detour. The detour actually allows the construction to happen much quicker than if we were to signalize and build in.
Oh, right.
Steps.
No, I wasn't suggesting that at all.
Just, that made me remember, there was also an environmental concern with endangered species. I believe it was the bog turtle, that there was like some mating or something that interfered with their ability to even like access the stream. Have you coordinated with the environmental groups to ensure that you're not going to run into any of those constraints?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm actually really surprised by the depth of these questions. So yes, environmental permitting is part of the project, and we're investigating, and this is going through a permitting process that identifies threatened and endangered species as well, and you know, mitigation efforts to any impacts to these things are also a consideration in obtaining the permit.
Maybe the township can share what we know about Lower Saucon Road and the bog turtles.
That's at Alpine, the one that was at Alpine Drive. in
Yeah,
Lower Saucon.
that was
Yeah,
also a
that's the one.
contributing factor to its length, the delay in.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt the rest of council members' questions. Priscilla or Chad?
I'm
Laura?
good, you guys hit them all. So, thank you.
I just want to say, I do like the design of the bridge. I like the widening of the shoulder, not necessarily even for commercial vehicles, but you may be hauling a landscape trailer or utility trailer on your vehicle, and that turn's been a challenge for many people, even without trailers. So I think that's a great change. I don't like the detour. Like it's been said, I mean, the people around here aren't gonna follow that. I worry you're gonna have large trucks not following that, but you're kind of darned if you do, darned if you don't. My biggest concern with that detour is gonna be emergency services. I mean, we had this presentation recognizing our police, fire, and EMS, and I see a 7-mile detour as a 10 to 15-minute delay in response time. So that concerns me. I do appreciate that the bridge looks like it's gonna be done quickly, but that still will affect emergency service response time, which is concerning to me.
That's a.
I don't think there's much you can really do about it. It's just something to be noted, I think.
I will say that these things can be coordinated with emergency services to identify, you know, more efficient local routes to improve those response times during the detour.
Okay, thank you.
I guess in regards to the detour and all your concerns, we can share, we have a actual engineering plan of the detour with all the signing and everything. We can coordinate with, if it's the roadmaster or public works, or, you know, filter it up to you guys, and work with you to make sure, because you obviously know the township more than we do, right? So make sure your concerns are addressed and we have the signing that you think would be best. So I'll put that out there.
Really, really
Thank you.
appreciate your willingness
You
to
know it better than we do,
collaborate with us on that for the benefit of our residents. I know they have that QR code at the end of their presentation. Hopefully we can put that on the front page of our website and highlight the comment period. And then I welcome you to stay, as we have some residents. I don't know if anybody will comment about this particular presentation, but that will also give you an idea from our residents' perspective, and then hopefully be able to answer their questions out in the hallway. And I think you said there's a form or some kind of form that you were leaving here with us.
Right, yeah, so the comment and form and questionnaire, we have some copies on the countertop over there. Anyone is welcome to fill them out and I think submit them to Stacy, and she'll get them over to Becky. And it's basically asking the same questions that you can get to on the comment form through the QR code. So however you prefer to submit them, you know, they'll be taken into consideration.
Okay, great. Maybe we could put them right on the edge of the table where our engineer is sitting. That way residents can grab them if they prefer to fill it out by hand. But thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have a review of the 2025 Comprehensive Annual Financial Report. In accordance with the Budget Advisory Report, the Director of Finance will present council with the prior year Comprehensive Annual Financial Report. This report provides an overview of the township's audited transactions and supplements the auditor's DCED report filing and financial report typically received in June each year. So, Patty, would you like to come to the podium, or would you like better feel to stay there?
Stay over here, just.
Okay.
Spread out, that's okay. Just to go off of what Victoria is saying, as a little background, the Comprehensive Annual Report, or the CAFA for short, so I'll refer to it as the CAFR, was a report suggested by the Budget Advisory Committee that, from my recent understanding, they met a few times in 2015. It is an optional report that the township likes to provide for more clarity. A lot of townships don't do one, but we do for additional clarity. The CAFR, the financial statements that are included with the CAFR, are very similar to the monthly reports that are given to council. The only difference is it's a summary of all of 2025 after the independent auditors have been here. They've finished their field work. They've done the DCD report, but the completed audit report is not together yet, and it won't be completed till usually midsummer. So this is kind of to give a summary prior to that, so it's not so long after the end of the year. And I just want to go over some of the highlights of the report. As of the end of 2025, the township has $32,733,492 in total. Now, that breaks down, there are the special tax funds, which includes open space, fire, and liquid fuels. And that of that amount, it's $15,091,122. Then the capital fund has $5,278,958. Now, in the general fund, there's a restricted amount of $2,263,208. And most of that is operational reserve. Now, and then there's a remaining amount of $4,900,204. Of that, $3 million is an unrestricted reserve, and then $1.5 million is a minimum fund balance of 2 months. And then the rest is in the general checking and payroll and petty cash. Just some of the general fund revenue highlights from 2025. Not including transfers, our 2025 actual revenue was $224,446 less than what we budgeted. With the main reason being our landfill tipping fees were $320,674 under budget, which we did receive $1,979,326. As far as the general fund expenditure highlights, we spent 94.11% of our budgeted amount for expenditures. This is $8,714,252, excluding the $1.59 million transfer to the capital fund. Almost all our functions were within budget. Zoning was slightly over budget in expenditures, but the revenue from permits was also above budget. So the expenses were higher, but so was the revenue that we brought in. Legal services were also slightly above budget. This line item varies based upon the number of hours requested and township events like the renegotiation of the non-union employee contract in 2025. Total expenses for 2025 were $760,142 than they were in 2024. The bulk of this increase was $280,526 in salaries, $258,526 in benefits, and $47,626 in insurance. So to conclude, at the end of 2025, the township had $282 $282,938 more in that unrestricted reserve account than allowed by resolution. So we want to make a resolution to transfer that excess into operational reserves, because we're only allowed to keep the 3 million in the unrestricted
And
account.
that's per that policy that we have,
Yes, by the
that we,
budget committee,
we
yes.
created.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the two options there, you can put it in the operational reserves, or you can transfer it to capital. Jay and I, at this time, we want to transfer it to the operational reserves.
Patty?
Questions?
Okay, so you're done.
Yep.
Go ahead, Priscilla.
I guess I was involved in that committee. Creating that policy was a while ago. I don't remember
Yes.
how long. How old is it?
It was 2015.
2015.
Yes.
So that's, do you think it should be revised and updated? Or you think it still meets our goals?
I think that the unrestricted max is okay, because that, it safeguards us, you know, from borrowing money if something catastrophic would happen in the township, you know, very quickly, that we wouldn't have to go out and borrow. As long as we have the operational reserve at a strong amount, I think the 3,000 is fine.
Okay. Well, if ever you
sorry, 3
feel
million.
that it needs to be updated, tell Jay
Yeah.
or the manager, and I'll be more than happy to serve on that committee.
Okay,
Again,
yeah, I
so-
think they met, I was just researching, I think they met a few times, and then it kind of got disbanded at that point.
Way back that, way,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I forget who else was on the committee, but, you know, everything's, nothing's written in stone.
Correct.
So, okay.
Priscilla, any other questions?
Nope, that's it. Thank you, Patty.
Hunter?
I have none, thank you.
Thank you. Laura?
Yeah, sorry, don't have this on. I didn't want to go into a whole lot of things because we'll be hitting all this fun stuff in budget season. The only one that jumps out at me always is the mention of the medical insurance costs and the potential for big increases there. You noted that we have maybe more risk. So I always think it would be a good idea to compare the self-insured with commercial insurance, just to make sure every year to have a comparison of.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I know we do belong to a
Savings or
consortium,
not.
and we do have certain standards in our contracts and employment contracts that we have to.
Right, but
Yeah, too.
commercial
But yes.
carriers,
Right.
obviously, I mean, they can offer whatever sort of coverage that you need, so.
Right.
I think it's worthwhile to do comparison now and then. I don't know if it's ever been done, or, so. And if we're doing the most cost-effective way, great, but if we're not, then we should think about switching. That's it.
Thank you, Laura. Chad?
When I was at the PSATS thing, they were saying that they provide health insurance as a group option for municipalities. Are we part of that or not?
Yeah, we're a member of Benecon, which is a cooperative municipalities, and their rates historically have been less than what PSAT's rates have been.
Okay, okay.
We do go in with, I think there's close to 40 or 45
I got you.
municipalities.
Okay. Just a couple things I'd like to point out here, and you made a point of it. The landfill host fees, 1.9 million is down 328,000 from prior year. I know that some have made claims that that represents a third of our budget, but that's not accurate. If you add this up, 1.9 million out of 10 is not a third. So just an accurate number that the landfill is about 20% of what our budget is at this point.
Of what we, for last year, yeah. It depends if you want to include the transfer or not.
Okay. And then there's another note in here that the police department has overtime due to attendance at council meetings.
Well, in 2025, it's just some of the reasons for overtime.
Is-
This was last year, though.
Yeah, this is last year.
2025, yeah.
Right, so let's take a look at that. How much did it cost us to have meetings that would go till 2 o'clock in the morning? How much did that cost us? Is that line item in here that's $12,000?
No, the overtime it's a bunch of different overtime.
That's not that, so that
It's part,
consolidates it?
it's a piece of it.
It's a
piece.
part of, but that's the line item.
Right.
Okay. And how much have we been overage in overtime so far this year? 0?
Well, we do still have, we'll have it overtime,
To be
yeah.
at council meetings even before midnight?
Well, I mean, we do have officers here, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, but obviously if they're not here as long, it's not as much.
Okay. But are we saving the township money by not having meetings that go till 2 o'clock in the morning? Thank you. That's what I was trying to get at.
Patty, can you indicate with a verbal response?
Seems so.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Thank you for putting this report together, though. It's very informative and detailed.
Thanks.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you for putting this together with respect to the budget. I was curious to see the different percentages increase for the major components that you had indicated were the reason for different things going up. I think you said salary, insurance, and there was a third.
Different types of insurance, yeah.
So it
Overall
would just be interesting
liability.
to know like what percentage has that increased year over year. I don't know if you know, but if you don't, it's okay.
Well, the salary increase is based upon the contracts, so as far, because they get an increase each year, so it's the increase of the contract, so non-uniform and the uniform contracts. And I think the insurance ended up going up, I want to say about 17-18%.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And we've kept our taxes steady. At least our main tax, fire went up a little bit, but we haven't. Last year we didn't increase taxes despite that increase in.
For 2025, correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
That's all I have.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Patty. Okay, so now we will come to public comment on agenda items, 3-minute time limit. If you have a comment, I welcome you to the podium. So please come. Anybody?
Good evening, everyone. Long-time listener, first-time caller. I'm sorry. My name is Michael Cook. I live at 2583 Reddington Road. I'm going to read a written statement, and I have copies of that if anyone would like it. I got you, Mark. I am standing today in opposition to the Easton Fish and Game Club's proposed lot line change on today's agenda. While I am not sure of any formal development plans filed yet, based on conversations with club members, it is my understanding that they intend to construct and operate an archery range on the former residential property at 2575 Reddington Road, which sits directly adjacent to my home and other neighboring residences. The proposal appears to combine that 1.98 acre parcel into 2 larger adjoining lots to meet the minimum 3 acre requirement under Lower Saucon Township Code, subsection 180, 111, and section B. My concern is that this will effectively circumvent the intent of that ordinance, allowing the club to place an archery range within approximately 50 feet of adjacent property. The minimum acreage requirement exists to ensure a safe buffer between such activities and residential properties. Additionally, subsection 180-111A requires that the club operations not create a nuisance for adjoining properties. An archery range in such close proximity would pose safety concerns, create ongoing disturbances, and likely reduce surrounding property values. I urge council to clarify the club's intentions. Recent surveying activity and the construction of a large wooden fence suggest preparation consistent with range development. If that is the case, I respectfully ask that you deny this application. The club has a lot of land adjacent to that property, suitable land farther from residences where such a facility could be located with less impact. Approval of this request would place neighboring homeowners at risk, physically, financially, and in terms of quality of life. I ask that you protect the residents and deny this proposal. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you
Thank you,
for your
Michael.
comment. Next person, please.
Mark Ozimek, Reddington Road. On the Easton Road, blah, blah, blah. Easton Fish and Game Association's land reconfiguration that they want to do. I do not want club members basically in our backyards, because it'll be in my backyard, more so than anybody else's. And over the years and through the course of time, the issues that come with the Easton Fish and Game Club members have been numerous. From them calling the police on me because I was burning my ditch, or me having to call the police for people that drive like idiots up and down the road or leave racing. We were just out front cleaning up the grass and doing stuff out there, and I can't guarantee it came from the gun club, but we had a car swerve at us while we were working on the street just this past weekend. I can't find, here. Vicky's comments, who is my wife, says, people who drive in and out of the gun club, people don't move over or slow down. And if we were outside working on property, so they don't have any respect for the local property owners. And that's true, because I had an incident where I called Northampton County Court, and two guys coming out of the gun club decided to drive like idiots. One of them drove over my property, and the other one pulled a gun out on me in front of my house. Now, the two cops that were there say, well, two wrongs don't make a right. Well, you know what? They were more in the wrong than I was. Because the police department, when they finally got around to looking at one video, decided, oh my God, there is something wrong here. But then again, they never asked for the other video, which they haven't seen yet, that I still have at home, because I collect the evidence. So the gun club needs to, and they have put stuff on their website about how they're supposed to act when they come in and out of our neighborhood, because it's our neighborhood. It's not the gun club neighborhood. It was different when old man Chunko was alive and he ran it. But since he died and the gun club purchased the property, it seems to have gone downhill. The bow and arrow range behind my house is one of two concerns. The other concern is the rumor of a 300-yard shooting range. And there were.
Can you just wrap it up? Thank you.
Well, I'm requesting my extra 2 minutes on my comment thing. I don't remember if you guys had it on there, but Bononis did, so I could request an extra 2 minutes to get 5.
There's no extra 2 minutes. Could you wrap it up, sir?
Yeah, I know. You don't want to hear from me.
We didn't say that.
Thank you for your comment. Next person, please.
Bononis. I never would have thought he'd ever say that. Okay, I'm Dave Boulan. Wonderful report, financial report here, but I really look forward to the auditor's report. We talked about that. Going down through the items here, thank you very much, Jay, for the new web pages. They're really spectacular. In terms of the agenda, I'm a little bit shocked here. I see things in here, somebody needs to run this through spell check, and this council needs to read the agenda because there are mistakes in it, okay? And obviously, you must not read it, because otherwise you'd be saying something about it. And I'm just talking about simple spelling mistakes. I want to get on to the next thing. 27-page chunks are hard to dissect, so when it comes time to comment on them, it's going to take a little bit more than a week. Maybe I can do it at the night session here, at the end of the business here. So the bottom line is that what really surprised me was this agreement on the pool. Oh my gosh, who wrote this? Very sophomoric. I'll just say that because there's so many mistakes in it. For instance, in the very beginning, it says that the residential and non-residential fees, and it talks about that and how the fees are going to be set. Then it goes on to say, well, they're really going to be combined. They're going to be the same. And then it goes on to say, and by the way, when it comes time to collect money, we will take the difference between the residential and the non-residential, and you'll be responsible for that. And then it goes on to say, on the next page, it goes on to say, by the way, Lower Saucon shall make appropriate budget allocations to ensure the cost differential, if you all know what that means. I know it's in the back of your car. But the bottom line is the township shall be able to afford this and reimburse the borough of Hellertown. Honest to Pete, whoever wrote this, and I'd say the attorney should have wrote it, but I know he's a lot smarter than that. So I would suggest, Mr. Gaduzian, the amount of money you pay, you be reviewing this even while we're talking and you're doing something else. What else is happening? Automatic contact renewal, automatic. So you guys don't have to do anything. It just rolls over. So if the rates go through the sky, too bad, too sad, it goes over. I would say to that, no. Anybody that signs a contract like that really needs to go to business school. And it goes on and on. I would say scrub this whole thing. If you vote on it tonight, go for it. But it's really atrocious. And I'd suggest maybe you take a break and read it first.
Thank you for your comment. Next person, please.
Bruce Petrie, Reddington Road. I agree with Mark and the other gentleman about denying the combination there. I mean, it already kind of looks like a military camp over there with the signs they have up. It's kind of scary. I mean, I know you want to try to dissuade people from trespassing, but again, kind of as an aside to Mark's comment about cars, we still have, I mean, there are some really good drivers that are driving the trucks up and down Reddington Road, but 1 out of every 3 has to be doing 45 miles an hour in a 25. So I don't know if we need more police over there. And not to mention just residential cars. Again, as Mark said, I don't know if they're coming from the Fish and Game or not, but there's just way too much speeding on that road because they think, you know, there's no police presence over there, so why not burn it? So, you know, there are people walking up and down that road, and there's no shoulder, as you know, and it's very dangerous. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Next person, please. Going once, going twice. Okay, moving on. We don't have any hearings. The first developer item is the Easton Fish and Game Association Subdivision 2595 Reddington Road, preliminary final lot line change plan approval. The applicant is proposing to combine 5 existing parcels into 2 parcels in the location of Riverside Drive, Reddington Road, Route 78 and Route 33. I don't know if anybody's here on behalf of Easton Fish and Game. There is somebody here, so hopefully they can describe the project, and perhaps you did hear a number of residents with questions, so if you could address those, that would be wonderful.
Sure. Yeah, good evening. Thank you for having me here tonight to speak. I'm Drew Bertolazzi with Gilmore & Associates, the survey and engineering firm that prepared this lot consolidation plan. If you'll bear with me for just 1 minute, I'll set up a poster board here off to the side. So just take a minute, I'll set it up so everyone can take a look. Oh, yeah, that'll work too. So brief overview of the location. This is located in the northeast section of Lower Saucon Township near the border with Williams Township. There's currently 5 parcels, all of which are owned by Easton Fish and Game Association. And they front onto Reddington Road East, Interstate 78, and then Pennsylvania Route 33. So the intention is to consolidate these 5 parcels into ultimately 2 parcels. The reason for this, if I don't know if you have the first sheet, shows the aerial, might help visualize things a little better. Yeah, it looks like it says 2 of 2. If we go to 1 of 2, it might bring up the aerial. I can just try to start describing them in the meantime. So if you look at the plan, there's parcel 1. This is currently a vacant parcel. This is on Reddington Road East. There's parcel 2. This is the main Easton Fish and Game Association parcel. This is where the clubhouse is, the parking lot, flagpole, storage facilities, etc. There's the other marked 3. This is currently undeveloped. This has frontage onto Interstate 78, but obviously there's no direct access. What's labeled as parcel 5, this has an access drive out to Reddington Road that then connects to parcel 3. And then what's labeled as parcel 6, this contains small sheds and storage facilities at the moment. So the intention is to consolidate what's labeled as lots 1, 2, and 6 together. And that'll be in proposed lot 1, and then the intention is to consolidate the other 2 lots labeled as existing lot 3, existing lot 5 into proposed lot 2.
Do you have a clicker there? Can you use the?
Oh, let's see if there's a clicker.
I think it's right there on the table. If you could just on the.
That might help people visualize.
Yeah.
There's a pointer there too.
Oh, excellent. Oh, this is perfect. Yeah, we've got the aerial. That'll probably help people.
Do you want me to zoom in a little?
Yeah, that's excellent. Oh, thank you. Try to see. Oh, yes, this works perfectly. Yeah, so if you could scroll to the south a little bit, down a little bit, perfect. Yeah, this shows things pretty well. So, Easton Fish and Game Association, they own right now. It still works. It just has to think for a second. So they own 1. It's labeled as 2, 6. What's labeled as 5 over here, and then what's labeled as 3 off to the right side of the screen. So parcel number 1, this is currently vacant, and parcel number 2, this is where the clubhouse is, the existing shooting range, event space, parking lot, etc. This parcel here, labeled as 6, this currently contains some storage buildings and sheds. And then if we scroll over to the right and look at 3, this is currently vacant. And then this sliver down here that's going out to Reddington Road, that has an access drive.
Yeah. I don't know why it turned this color, but
That's a good question.
let me just go through.
Fresh, maybe?
So you say that's an access road? A public
Yeah, an
road?
access drive, yep.
So that
So
would-
essentially a driveway.
So that'll be, because it's not there now.
There is one there now, going from Reddington Road through Lot 5 and then over to
And it's
Lot
used?
3. It's used right now to access it. It's the only way to access Lot 3 at the moment. So Lot 3 is not landlocked because it technically does have frontage on the PennDOT right away. but we can't access a limited access highway. So with this lot consolidation, then the lot effectively won't be landlocked anymore. It will have a direct connection out to Reddington Road, and there'll be a driveway connection on that newly consolidated lot.
So normally you would go straight, instead of going up the hill, you'd go straight and go all the way down to the end, and then you'd access it that way, those other lots.
So currently how they need to access lot 3. You go on Reddington Road, then there's a driveway going up here. So there's not going to be any proposed improvements. There's no proposed improvements with this lot consolidation. No access, no new access drives, no new buildings, no new sanitary facilities, no new on-lot water with this lot consolidation. I know ultimately Easton Fish and Game would like to develop these newly consolidated lots. I don't know the specifics of what they're trying to do out there. So that's the one, so lot 3 and 5 consolidated together, so that way there's going to be, access. It's no longer effectively landlocked. And then the other 3 together, this consolidates smaller parcels, so you have one larger tract area for and proposed future improvements, not associated with this lot consolidation. So we intend to comply with the latest Hanover letter and all the conditions there. And so we'll work with the township engineer and the township solicitor to address all the outstanding comments. Both the proposed lots comply with all zoning requirements, minimum lot size, impervious coverage, et cetera. So tonight we'd be asking for a conditional approval conditioned on complying with all of the requirements and the latest Hanover engineering letter.
I believe we do have a signed copy of the conditions by the association. So they're acknowledging that they will comply with the conditions.
Can you just explain what the conditions are for the public?
The main condition is to comply with our last review letter. Our last review letter has some, what I would call pretty minor plan changes to correct and clarify a couple of things on the plan, and then a list of things they need to do before they can record the plan.
Thank you, Brian. And just for my edification, if they were to develop some kind of use on it, like an archery range or something, that would be a separate plan that would then again be reviewed?
They would have to come back for any land development approvals or otherwise. All they're asking for this application is what's known as a lot line adjustment, where they're essentially consolidating various lots. So they're not asking today for any development. They're not asking for any approvals with regard to any particular use or building or otherwise.
Yeah, that's correct.
So just for the public's benefit, if they consolidate their lots, they would still have to come back before our entire township staff and planning to have whatever use that they're looking for in the future to be approved. And so you have concerns about the use of the land, that would be a separate question aside from consolidating lots. But I did want to open it up to other members of council in case you had questions.
No, I mean, I was just, what Brian said, they meet all the requirements for this particular plan, and they'd have to come back for any additional use that they want to do, so.
Okay.
I'm understanding it.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm seeing is, this is just consolidating lot lines, that has nothing to do with uses.
That's correct.
Okay. So I think that based upon them complying with everything, we as a council are constrained to comply with allowing the lot line adjustment, because there's nothing there. So I will entertain a motion.
No,
Question?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'm trying to find the right Hanover letter.
Well, let me ask for a motion and then we can.
Okay.
Okay. I will entertain a motion granting the waivers, deferrals as outlined in section B of the motion prepared by Hanover Engineering, and so that's the first one, right? There are two different ones.
Did somebody make the motion?
The waivers and deferrals.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. We need to make a motion, huh?
Well, I mean, either at the beginning or the end.
You make a
Yeah.
motion and then,
Okay, so I'll make the motion that, whatever you.
I'll second.
Sorry.
okay, go ahead, comments, Laura.
Yeah, so my question then was, when I was looking at the Hanover letters with all the recommendations, so I just happened to notice in two places on number 9 and number 10, in one that you commented that on number 10, applicant requests a waiver of this requirement, a deferral of this request until further future subdivision or development may be more acceptable. Why would we not make the same thing for number 9 too?
Well, the actual motion then is revised to those two sections for natural resource protection and for site capacity calculations to defer them until time of future development rather than waive them.
Correct. So maybe you lost me again then. So why wouldn't we have the same, just defer considering the waiver on that until we see what it is that they're doing?
Sorry, for which one?
Number 9.
Number 9, which is?
To the extent of woodlands, wetlands, vernal ponds, floodplains, steep slopes, carbonate geology features, riparian corridors, and other critical topographic features as defined by Chapter 180 zoning shall be shown on the plan as applicable, including supporting studies and reports documenting the delineations.
Right, and that's deferred to any future development.
You don't want to waive it, you want to defer it.
No, I know we don't want to waive it. I'm just saying that number 10 says defer it, number 9.
Yeah, in
doesn't.
our package, it says waive.
Because they asked for a waiver. So when we put the motion together, though, we changed it to deferral.
Yeah, we would be okay with a deferral.
On both things.
Yeah.
Both.
Because it's council's actions that determines what it is. Just because they requested a waiver, you can still defer it and not waive it.
I think it's just a distinction between the actual, what your recommendation is a deferral.
Correct.
They're asking for a waiver, but we've already incorporated the deferral across the board, it sounds
Yes.
like. Okay.
All right. Yeah, that was the only question I wrote down.
Thank you, Laura. Chad, did you have something?
Yeah, no, that was the same point that I wanted to make, that all these are deferred based upon any future development.
We'll take a roll call on this.
The motion has to be amended then, because the motion was based on,
It is correct in the motion.
what's that?
It is correct in the motion.
Okay, just checking. I'm sorry, I'm just.
Oh, that's
checking.
okay. I'll take a roll call on this motion.
Ms. De Leon,
Yes.
Ms. Ray,
Yes.
Gress,
Yes.
Ms. Uptown Cordero,
Yes.
and Becker.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, and then as it relates to the same thing, I will now entertain a motion to grant conditional preliminary / final lot line change plan approval in accordance with the motion prepared by Hanover Engineering. Before I entertain that motion, Brian, can you explain what the motion is?
It
'Cause
is
you prepared it.
primarily to, other than some administrative items, to comply with our last review letter, which contains some things they need, minor things they need to change on the plan and administratively take care of before recording.
And if I may, the reason why it's broken down to 2 is you generally vote on the waivers and deferrals first, and then you then vote on whether you're going to accept it. It's all in the same motion, but it's broken down, so we address the waiver specific issues, which you've already done, and now it's whether you grant the approvals, based on the motion that was presented by Hanover.
Right.
Again,
Okay.
just to be clear, it's not the request of the applicant, it's the whatever Hanover has put together.
Which was deferrals.
Yes.
Okay. All right, I will entertain this motion.
I'll second.
No, make
Or
the one.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second the motion.
We can have a roll call.
Ms. Ray,
Yes.
Mr. Gress,
This is the extension.
Ms. Aptoff Cordero,
Yes.
Mr. Heimbecker,
Yes.
Ms. De Leon.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, so the next component is just that Easton Fish and Game is granted.
Yeah, if I may,
Go
just
ahead.
because since 5A was granted, 5B was, if approval was not granted, they were going to ask for an extension.
Oh,
Since it was granted, we don't get to 5B, or we don't have to address 5B.
Okay,
Thank you.
Perfect.
thank you.
Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Very much.
This is confusing.
Next, we have Still City Mennonite Church lot line change on number 01-26-2137 Mixel Avenue and 4291 Matthews Avenue. From a preliminary final lot line change plan approval, the applicant proposes to subdivide lot 25-5 into 2 separate tracts. Is anybody here on behalf of the Mennonite Church? You want to go ahead and explain?
Sure. My name is Doug Harwick. I'm with Keystone Consulting Engineers. I'm the survey of record for the plan. What the plan is proposing is there's a vacant lot owned by Richard and Geraldine DeSantis. It's lot 21-5, just above your cursor there. And the plan's proposing to subdivide that into 2 lots and combine a sliver of the north portion of the lot with existing lands of Richard and DeSantis, lot 21-9, which would help incorporate the existing driveway into their lot, and then they would then convey the southerly portion to Steel City Mennonite Church. So we are proposing no new lots. It would still be two lots, just a lot line adjustment, essentially. So we're not proposing any development, and yes, that's pretty much all I have.
Okay, thank you. I will entertain a motion granting the waivers and deferrals as outlined in section B, prepared by Hanover Engineering, unless is there something specific, Brian, that you want to point out?
No, it's very similar to the last one.
Okay, can I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second that motion.
Hold on. Have you signed the conditions that was forwarded out to?
The applicant has the conditions, and we'll sign them and return them to the township.
You authorized to sign on behalf of the applicant?
Yes.
Then if you could sign it on behalf of them before they pass the motion.
Why are they doing this?
Why are they doing it?
Usually when you get a lot line thing, you don't know why or what. You just get the lot line, and then later, some kind of plan comes in, what they're doing it for.
He said there's no development.
So this is a church? Parking lot? It's kind of hard to read these plans.
I'll say.
This is a parking lot.
Okay, I will have a roll call.
I didn't write who made the motion in a second, I'm sorry.
All right, who made the motion?
Laura made the
I
motion.
think
Laura and Hunter.
I apologize, I didn't hear. Mr. Gress,
Yes.
Ms. Aptoff Cordero,
Yes.
Mr. Heimbecker,
Yes.
Ms. De Leon, Ray.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
And similar to what Mr. Kazuzzian explained before, I will now entertain a motion to grant conditional preliminary / final lot line change approval in accordance with the motion prepared by Hanover. Can I get a motion?
Make a motion.
Second? I'll second, I guess. Roll call, please.
I'm sorry, Ms. Aptow Cordero?
Yes.
Mr. Heimbecker?
Yes.
Ms. De Leon?
Yes.
Ms. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Gress?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you very much. Next, you're free to go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse me. Next, we have Rosen Grant Land Development, number 01-25. They're asking for MPC extension. The applicant, Rosen Grant, is granting. They're not asking. They're granting the township an extension under the MPC. We do not need to vote on that. The deadline is now July 29, 2026. Next is Steel Club Land Development Plan Phase 2 Wastewater Treatment Plant Allocation Agreement. Council will review the possibility and approve the Steel Club Land Development Plan Phase 2 Wastewater Treatment Plant Allocation Agreement. I will entertain a motion to sign the wastewater treatment plan allocation agreement. Our motion.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Okay, you want to explain anything, Steve?
Yes. This wastewater treatment plant allocation agreement has been in existence, meaning it's been drafted, and for several years. It has been the subject of some litigation with regard to the developer, as well as the township. The township has always taken the position that the township would sign the wastewater treatment plant allocation agreement when all the other entities sign. There's 3 entities that are scheduled and planned to sign this: the City of Bethlehem, Hellertown Borough Authority, and Lower Saucon Township. The City of Bethlehem signed. Lower Saucon was always represented that it would sign. To date, Hellertown Borough Authority has not signed. So it's our recommendation as staff and my recommendation as solicitor that we sign it so that we address this issue, ending it once and for all as to whether or not the township will sign. It doesn't mean the allocation agreement is in effect, because it will not be in effect until all 3 parties have signed.
Thank you, Steve. I will do a roll call.
Sorry, I'm doing 2 things at once here, sorry. Mr. Heimbecker?
Yes.
Ms. De Leon?
Yes.
Ms. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Gress?
Yes.
Ms. Aptow Cordero?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Moving on to township business items. I'd like to entertain first authorization advertisement for a public hearing on May 20th, 2026 for the enactment of ordinance 2026-02, the data center and data center accessory uses, and to provide provisions for the use not provided for in the ordinance. We will discuss and consider advertising for a public hearing to be held on May 20th, 2026, the draft ordinance for data centers and data center accessory uses, and to provide provisions for the uses not provided for in the ordinance. Comments from the township staff, council, Lehigh Valley Planning Commission, and Lower Saucon Township Planning Commission, Environmental Advisory Council have been reviewed. So at this time, I will entertain a motion to advertise for public hearing to be held on May 20th, 2026, the enactment of ordinance 2026-02 for data centers and data center accessory uses, and to provide provisions for the uses not provided for in the ordinance. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion as stated by the president.
I'll second.
Okay, I think we've all been through this one. We already commented on it before. We've seen everything, so unless somebody has a specific thing,
Really see.
you want to say something?
Well, this incorporated all the LVPC stuff, so
Yes,
we
it did.
didn't see this before, like in this format. I did have a lot of comments, sorry.
Go ahead.
All right, I was hoping, I don't know, I know you're having a hard time over there with, do we have a map anyway to show the LM district? Just, I think it makes it
Pull up
more
the,
sense for people when they know what area we're talking about.
Brian, should I
'cause-
pull up our zoning map, do you think?
Just to show people where this affects the LM district. Sorry, I was gonna email you that request, but I forgot. did have like a bunch of questions of how this all works out here. Tried to put them in order. So in section E, number 1, about the noise and vibration part. So it says the as-built sound study within 6 months of, we asked for an as-built sound study within 6 months of the CO being issued. Do we also need to specify that the center would be fully operational at this point? I mean, I don't know if there's a gap of time between a CO being issued and when it's actually functioning, when the sound study would make sense.
Yeah, I don't know how we would ever know that, other than giving them their certificate of occupancy if they're only at 10% versus what, there's no mechanism that I'm aware of for them to come back here and tell us, this goes with any business, what sections of the business are now in operation, and I don't know how we'd know that. We'd proceed under the assumption that if they got their certificate of occupancy, they'd be operating.
Ready to go.
I don't know of any other way, Steve, that we could do that.
There is no real other way to do it.
All right. Let's see. In E2, talks about the maximum decibel levels. The maximum decibel level does not apply during power outages. However, sound study should evaluate and report anticipated decibel levels when all emergency power generation equipment is running, including backup generators. So we would have no limit on how loud it is if they have to go to backup power? Wouldn't we want something?
Well, I don't know what you have now decibel limit wise for anywhere else that.
So it would default to.
That have generators and.
I mean, it's not really clear that it does default to something else. I don't know what anybody.
I don't know that you,
Thinks about
Ryan,
that?
are thinking of the same thing.
Yeah, maybe not.
I don't think, can you ask, I don't think he answered.
Yeah, maybe,
I mean, the way it's worded, it just says maximum decibel levels specified herein shall not apply during times of power outage. So it almost makes it sound like it can be as loud as, like it's, nothing will apply. They can make it as loud as, so I just wondered if we could make that better. It's E2.
Okay.
I mean, if it defaults to our
Is there
regular.
a page on that, Laura?
7.
7?
7, okay.
And what number again?
Number 2. Just to clarify for my understanding, so then on number 3, we have, in the event of a failure by the owner or occupant to remediate a sound violation, the township may revoke any zoning permits previously issued for the data center. So this could be anywhere down the line, or like when could we do that? If there's a sound violation, so that's when they're in operation?
That's the intent of that regulation, yeah.
Okay, well, I wasn't sure when you can revoke a zoning permit, if it's only before they're in operation or after they're in operation.
That's extra language specifically for this section, but I think if somebody is not complying with the zoning ordinance for their use, you can cite them or you can revoke the permit.
Okay, I was just not familiar with that. I'm hearing nothing.
Has that ever happened?
I don't know.
It's nice to say it, but does it really happen?
Yeah, I just want to make sure we are covered, because I mean, I don't know. That's why I'm asking. On 4B, B. So the next section, 4B.
Could you say the page number, please?
It's 7.
Oh, on 7, 4B, okay.
This is the operational monitoring. All reports prepared shall be done by a certified vibration engineer approved by Lower Saucon Township Council. Just trying to understand, are we gonna have a list, or do we think that we're approving it as they give the report and then we say, okay, we'll accept that engineer as,
Yeah, I
are we
don't
making
think,
a list?
I don't think we're gonna develop a list ahead of time.
Okay. 4D, let me see. Yeah, I had the same question about the revoking the zoning permits in a couple places to understand how that meant, how that applied. Next is in the water and sewer, section F, page 8. Do we have any recourse if there's issues with any of the water and sewer problems? I didn't find anything in here that was similar. Like the zoning permit thing, wording was in the other one. Do we?
Well, if there's a sewer issue, it's covered under the sewage enforcement issues. If there's a water issue, this ordinance has a lot of studies and protections for groundwater in it that goes way beyond what other uses are. So I don't know what recourse you have. I don't know that the state gives you recourse to deal with groundwater issues anyway.
That's what it wasn't clear on. Like, you have all these studies asking for all this information, but what if it's not? What if they're failing then at some point on these? It doesn't really say what do you do?
Well, if we were going to specifically say that in here, we'd have to point out why a data center is more apt to pollute than any other use.
Okay. Not picking on you, Brian. I just had a lot of questions when I read through this. There's a lot in here. It's a lot. Page 10, number 4. Under the site plan, it mentions about following features shall be presented on an up-to-date plan for the site and area within 300 feet beyond the site perimeter. Now, I'm going to ask, unlike the 2 that we had tonight, everybody asked for the waiver, but it's a 500 feet on all these other plans. Why would a data center only have a 300 foot? Because there's certainly more intense of a use.
Well, probably because that was in the model ordinance.
Our saldo happens to, it shouldn't be less
our
than what we
saldo
have.
happens to have 500 feet, so they're going to have to comply with the 500 feet.
So wouldn't we want to change the number?
We can.
Here?
Yeah, I'd
I
support
would,
that.
'cause I can see a lawyer arguing their way out of this because it's like, well, that says 300, so.
Yeah, I'd support that.
I just wondered why, it's like, it doesn't seem like it should be different. Certainly not less.
It's not the intent to have data centers provide less.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Let's see, hydrologic budget, so, find that. I think this is on page 15, the hydrologic budget. Figure out my question. It does mention that it gets calculated annually, but then it doesn't really say who's going to get this information and what do they do with the information and any of that. Like, do they have to provide us a report?
I'll look at that. You said that was page 15, right?
Page 15, and it's
Budget.
number 15.
I think
as well.
that's a regulations to develop the budget. I'm not sure that monitoring is a part of that.
It says they calculate it on an annual basis.
Yeah.
So
It doesn't mean they measure it on an annual basis.
oh,
They calculate
okay.
it.
They calculate it for a whole year's worth of data. Okay, gotcha. sorry. H, energy use. Kind of a similar question. Number 6, it's at page 18. The annual testing says shall be performed and reports shall be provided to the township. So if they turn in their reports again, if or when there are problems, do we need to specify anything like what is our recourse or what action do you take?
Whatever other action that would happen if something came into the zoning officer and said we're not in compliance with the ordinance anymore.
Okay. So overall in general, so there's a lot of ongoing monitoring that would happen and reports and all kinds of regulations. Do we charge like an impact fee or something? Like, it's a lot more work for our staff to have to do to review these things and make sure everything's in compliance. How do we cover those costs?
I don't know, Steve, would they be able to impose an annual fee because it's a data center?
No, we would not.
How do we do that?
We would not. We could not.
Oh, we don't. We can't. Okay. That's fun. That's fun, yeah. So, all right, and then I think my last section here was in K for the parking. Gave 2 options of how to calculate how many parking spaces. And option 2 makes sense. It's the parking space for an employee, 1 per employee, plus whatever vehicles they have that would, company vehicles they keep there. The one that's based on square footage of the data center, it wanted 1 space per 4,000 square feet of floor, or 1 space for the employee parking and the company vehicles again, and then it would be the greater of these 2. So in what I could understand, when data centers get huge, it doesn't make sense to require more parking because they're more fully automated. So they wouldn't have more employees per se. So I don't know if we want to have that option. Just base it on the employee number.
It's up to council. The option is there because if it is no longer a data center and you end up with no parking and they want to convert the use, your options are you either say no, it's going to remain a vacant building, or number 2, you've at least provided for the ability to have parking for another use.
Well, they could take down part of the building and you convert it to a parking lot if they needed to.
That's why, it's up to council, but that's the reason that
we end up with
either
like
or.
over-paved areas, like too much parking. We overdo it, I think, sometimes.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the idea is that you would have them designate the parking areas and then we could defer some of that until such time as the township tells them they have to build it.
Okay, makes sense. Sorry for all the questions.
Yeah, and if I may, part of the recommendation for the planning commission was to actually add more parking compared to their initial model ordinance, because the concept was that it was relatively sparse and we wanted to be sure we had enough parking, we didn't have overflow. So, and to dovetail onto Brian's comment that you want to plan for the future because they may not be a data center forever.
Well,
so,
but then you have all this paved impervious surface.
So as I may remind council, this is an area of the law that's developing very rapidly. It's been my recommendation from day 1 that we pass the ordinance.
Oh, yeah, I know. I do want to pass an ordinance for sure. I'm just trying to understand the details and how it all works and how we monitor
And I realize that there's going to be questions, but it's my recommendation that however we address those questions or concerns, we do not delay the advertising and the ultimate passage.
I agree totally 100% on that.
If you want to advertise, you can do it conditioned upon the items that we discussed
Well, I would change the number of feet in that.
Right.
And I'll look at the power outage decibels and see if we can tweak that language and
Yeah,
the parking, maybe we'll make it more specific that council has the ability to defer some of that parking.
okay, that sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you. I can't remember if I made a motion or asked for a motion before, or if I didn't.
You did.
Well, can I ask for whoever asked for the motion to amend it as per what Brian just said, that, you know,
I think I made it.
Yes.
And I will agree to amend with the changes. Anything else?
second,
I second.
you, okay, you agreed to the
I
change?
will second, yes.
Okay. Thank you, Laura, for that very thorough
Sorry.
review of the entire ordinance, and I think it's helpful for the public, so it's good. Well, I would like to entertain a roll call now for advertisement as amended.
Are you ready for, okay. Ms. DeLeon?
Yes.
Ms. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Gress?
Yes.
Ms. Aptoff Cordero?
Yes.
Mr. Heimbecker?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
It's a busy night.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Next, we have agreement of seasonal pool pass fees. Council will review the possibility of approval for pool pass agreement. Jay, you want to explain anything about this? I think it's the same as last year, right?
Now, what happened, as the Township Council may or may not remember, there was, with a prior council, there was some litigation between the Borough of Hellertown and the Township. As part of resolving that various litigation, there was a stipulated agreement where we would essentially go back to the way things were with regard to the Hellertown pool. And that's how it was handled last year.
Right.
For this upcoming year, we realized that there's no formal agreement, and we asked Hellertown to provide us with one. So this is essentially a formal agreement which sort of ratifies what was done last year, but is done in a more formal way. It sets up the time periods for when we collect fees and then reimburse them or provide them to the borough.
But it doesn't substantively change the old agreement, which, as I understand, Lower Saucon Township residents will pay the in-resident cost for their pool passes at Hellertown area pool, and then the township will reimburse Hellertown Borough for the difference between a non-resident and a resident. And that's basically it. And then residents in the past had to go to Hellertown Borough Hall to get their passes, and there was all that. But now that's all streamlined to come to Lower Saucon Township, and we provide them passes. Is that still, that's correct?
Right, and Hellertown gets their money quicker than waiting a year, because in the way past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The agreement has time periods in which Lower Saucon has to remit to Hellertown.
Okay. So I will entertain a motion to sign the pool pass agreement with the Borough of Hellertown.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Roll call?
How much is it gonna cost? That's not in here?
It's set up where the Lower Saucon residents pay whatever Hellertown is paying, their residential fee. But the number is not set in the agreement.
Doesn't cost us anything.
Yeah, we cover the difference, though.
Oh,
Between resident and
The
non-resident
resident pays
rate.
whatever the set fee is.
And
That's how we've always done it before.
Yeah.
But there was, like, again, where it got messed up, and I had to pay a higher price, and then I would come over here and get a
Yeah, that's fixed.
reimbursement.
You just come here once.
So I just pay one rate, the lower rate now.
Once, here.
Okay.
Right.
But do anybody know what the family pool pass is gonna be this year?
I think Hellertown had published
Hellertown
it.
advertised it.
They did publish it.
It'd be nice to have that written down in here somewhere.
As an agreed upon rate or something?
Yeah, I think that would be smart. I'm not a lawyer, but.
You're smart.
But then we'd have to do
We
this
have to
again
do the
every
agreement
year.
every year then, specifically
Yeah.
to change the number.
I mean, assuming we don't have a 20-minute conversation on it, it's what? An item on the agenda and 5 minutes of voting on it? Just a little extra peace of mind, especially for residents.
And I guess the alternative would be that we don't have a pool agreement. That we don't,
Well, yeah,
they just pay the non-resident
you'd have to
fee.
redo the cool agreement if you were to put the prices in there, but.
Right, the way it's set up now is it's set up where Lower Saucon residents pay the resident rate, and then it's set by Hellertown, so we're all treated the same, and it's set for an automatic renewal, so if we're unhappy with it, we choose not to renew it. But then that way, we do not have to do this every year, and if, for example, they raise it by 3% next year, it's raised for Hellertown residents as well as Lower Saucon residents.
My concern more so is if they would raise the non-resident rate, say, you know, whatever, say it's a $5 difference between the two rates, just arbitrary number. And say the next year they change it and it's a $100 difference all of a sudden, and now the township's out that $95 difference.
No, we would choose not to renew it at that point, or we could discuss about not renewing it.
Is there a way we could, I mean, at that point, almost, you should have the price in there though and have it reviewed every year.
You could do that, but that's gonna cause, my estimation, cause more problems than it's gonna solve. Because you're gonna have to do this every year. The relationship between the borough and the township may not be what it is today. And if there's a delay in getting the agreement signed before they start issuing passes, it becomes a logistical problem.
I understand the concern with.
We can terminate it, though. I mean,
We can, but
so.
who's to say, you know, who's to say it's possible they could change the rate and it could be missed? I mean, we have a great staff, our manager is great, I'm sure he would catch that, but say Jay's not the manager in 2 years, and there's something that it becomes a larger financial burden on the township, is my concern.
Thank you. Hunter?
The rates are already publicized on their website. Youth is $145, adults $185, senior citizens $100, family of 5, $350, and each additional person is $45.
$350.
What's the difference between resident and non-resident?
$100.
So it's $250 for a family of 5.
Correct.
Which is 10 visits. For me.
Can I have a roll call?
I'm sorry, just trying to figure out if I'm buying the pass or not this year. Put one in your backyard. Am I gonna make it 10 times?
Ms. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Grass?
Who made this?
No.
Ms. Aptoff Cordero?
Yes.
Mr. Heimbecker?
Yes.
Ms. De Leon?
Yes.
Motion passes 4-1.
Next, we have Resolution 41, 2026, transfer of funds. 41-2026 has been prepared following the presentation of the comprehensive annual financial report and is attached for council's review and approval. I will entertain a motion to approve Resolution 41, 2026 for the transfer of funds from the general unrestricted savings account to the general fund operating reserve savings account. I think that's as you had discussed prior. That was the staff's recommendation, so I will entertain the motion for that.
I'll make that motion as stated by the president.
I will second that motion.
Can I have a roll call on that? I feel like we talked about that before.
Oh, I thought you were just.
No, I just
sorry.
wanted to get
Mr.
ready.
Grass?
Yes.
Ms. Aptoff Cordero?
Yes.
Mr. Heimbecker?
Yes.
Ms. De Leon?
Yes.
Ms. Ray?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Next, we have approval of Heritage Day special event application. We have a special event application received from Saucon Valley Conservancy for Hellertown Lower Saucon Heritage Day event to be held on Saturday, May 16th at Heller Homestead House. This event is being held in conjunction with both Lower Saucon Township and Hellertown Historical Societies. I will entertain a motion to approve the special event application for Heritage Day to be held at the Heller Homestead on May 16th, 2026.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a comment.
Go ahead, Priscilla.
I'd just like to say that this is, as we prepare for Heritage Day, May 16th, I want to highlight a part of our local history that will be reflected in one of the activities planned for the event at the Heller Homestead. During the Revolutionary War, Michael Heller is remembered as one of the first local residents to provide food and essential provisions to General George Washington's troops during the critical winter encampment at Valley Forge in 1777 and 1778, when the Army faced severe shortages. The Heller family's early farmstead along Saucon Creek and the service of two of Michael Heller's sons reflect the deep roots in the community and the nation's early struggle for independence. The Heller homestead and the remaining stone barn stand as physical reminders of that history. The barn, built by Michael Heller and later expanded by subsequent generations, is one of the township's earliest surviving agricultural structures, even in its current condition. It continues to tell the story of the families who worked this land, supported their neighbors, and contributed to the region's development from the 18th century forward. In recognition of that history, Heritage Day on May 16th will include a community food drive at the Wagon Tent, and it'll be by the fence by where the arch is. And we're gonna be collecting non-perishable food and asking people to visit the site during Heritage Day and bring, bags of whatever they want. I'll have a list, but, and then drop them off in the wagon. Fortunately, Kathy Pitchell McGovern is lending us her beautiful wagon to use, and then we'll have a tent in case it rains. But anyway, we're asking residents to come visit us and donate food. And then at the end of the day, we're gonna divide it up into thirds and give it to the Ebenezer New Reformed Church Food Bank on Bingen and the New Jerusalem Lutheran Church Community Food Bank on Apples Church Road, and the blessing boxes that you see around. So this is a meaningful way to connect our history with service to our community today. So hope to see you there with your bags, and hope we collect a lot of food or provisions I'm gonna be contacting the food bank people, and they'll give me a list of suggestions, like what to bring and stuff, so.
We're gonna have to get that info out.
I'm working on it this 2 weeks.
Okay.
It'll have it for the money we have. Oh, and we're having a meeting on Monday,
27th?
the 27th, at 7 o'clock at Sidersville Hall, so I will have everything for that. So, it's open to anybody for volunteers, so we're gonna have a good history day, or Heritage Day.
Thank you, Priscilla. When you get the list of requested items, maybe just give that to the township so they can.
Oh, yeah, I'll put it on a Facebook
Publish
page.
it.
Yeah.
But they can publish it on the township.
Absolutely, right.
Thanks. So, okay, so can I have a roll call on the event application?
Ms. Optoff Cordero?
Yes.
Mr. Heimbecker?
Yes.
Ms. De Leon?
Yes.
Ms. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Gress?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, next we have a special event application from Lower Saucon Township Historical Society for the 3rd grade field trip to be held at the Lutz Franklin Schoolhouse on multiple dates noted in May 2026. I will entertain a motion to approve the special event application for the Saucon Valley School District's 3rd grade field trip hosted by the Lower Saucon Township Historical Society and at Lutz Franklin Schoolhouse.
I'll make that motion as stated by the president.
I'll second that motion. I will just say this is a wonderful thing that we have going, and I thank the volunteers and the school district for collaborating to celebrate our history. Roll call.
Mr. Heimbecker?
Yes.
Ms. De Leon?
Yes.
Ms. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Gress?
Yes.
Ms. Optoff Cordero?
Yes.
Passes 5-0.
Thank you very much. Next, we have the March 18th, 2026 council minutes are ready for review. I will entertain a motion to approve them.
I have one minor correction.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Well, let's make the motion and then.
Well, with the correction.
Well, okay, what's the
The
correction?
the motion will be wrong.
Okay.
Okay, so it is just one little thing. Page 13, line 26. And it's for the TV channel, it's WLVT instead of WELT. You got that? Okay, yeah, that's the only correction that I saw. I only looked at
So
me.
I'll entertain a motion with the correction noted.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second the motion.
Roll call, please.
Ms. De Leon?
Yes.
Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Gress?
Yes.
Paf Cordero?
Yes.
Mr. Heimbecker?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Next, we have the March 2026 financial reports for our review. I will entertain a motion to approve them. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
A second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Gress?
Yes.
Ms. Aptoff Cordero?
Yes.
Mr. Heimbecker?
Yes.
Ms. De Leon?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, next we have discussion of the DEP consent order regarding Bethlehem landfill. We will discuss and possibly act on the consent order dated January 14th, 2026 regarding the Bethlehem landfill. I will turn this over to Steve to discuss the consent order.
Thank you. As a matter of background, there is a consent order that was issued dated January 14, 2026 between the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection and the Bethlehem Landfill Company. The order itself is 26 pages long. It starts off with a history of a series of violations of the landfill starting from 2020, relating to notices of violations provided, inspection reports from that point forward to the present relating to, among other things, odors, fissures, leachate seeps, and so on. There was a series of violations that were issued, which led to this consent order. The consent order then sets forth a series of items listed as unlawful conduct on page 13, which include failure to place final cover within a time period, failure to place a uniform cover, failure to place a uniform daily cover, and various other violations, including issues with regard to odors. There was a stipulated order between the landfill and the department where the landfill agreed that they would not challenge or deny the assertions set forth in the consent order. There was corrective action that was set forth by the landfill that they would have to perform. There was a civil penalty of $137,750. It has stipulated civil penalties if there's a continual violation of $500 per day for certain violations and $250 a day for other violations. And it was signed by the parties. This is a consent order between the Department of Environmental Protection as well as the landfill. It is not with the township. The township is not a party to this agreement, but of course it is in the township. So that is what the order says. The township can consider sending a letter to the department supporting the department's action to enforce the consent order if it so chooses.
Thank you very much for that review. I remain concerned that we have situations in which we have operations going on for years with outstanding violations before there is ultimately a resolution reached. In this case, there was at least a consent order reached, but it took a number of years for that to materialize. And I still remain extremely concerned that the longer we have this type of operation in our township, the longer we will be subject to agreements happening outside of our control. So as Steve noted, we were not a party to this. We were not able to provide input on behalf of our residents. And although it sits in our township, we weren't able to participate in it. I do think it's a very important step and it's very enlightening for us. So I am very much supportive of doing a letter to the DEP that would encourage them to strictly enforce their consent decree and work with the township as much as we are able to help them in continuing to oversee the operations there. I will entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion and I have a comment then afterwards. Second.
I'll second the motion.
I just feel that, you know, they got the consent order in January, and then the next two inspection reports, if you go on the online and look them up, they didn't change anything. There's still some things that are outstanding, and they're continuing to do them. And I just don't think that's right. And just to let everybody know, tomorrow at 2 p.m. in the afternoon, we're having our quarterly landfill meeting with the landfill and the township. And supposedly Roger Bellis is coming, right? Is that correct? That's correct, right? And so I'll have some questions. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Any other comments before I do roll call?
I have a question, I guess, sort of for Steve. A little bit for myself and also for the public. What's the difference if we do or do not send a letter? What are the two different outcomes in those two situations?
It may affect what DEP does. It may not affect what DEP does. You never know. So if you're asking, and it's totally understandable, if you're asking, tell me what this letter will do, it's unclear, but it at least will show the township's position or township council's position.
Is this letter going to open the township up to any sort of litigation or anything like that?
I don't believe it would. It would be simply, we would ask the department to move forward and enforce their orders and show that we support them.
Okay.
Yeah, and over the years, Hunter, we've done that for different things.
So it's more or less just a letter saying we agree with the DEP and we support them?
Right.
In essence.
Okay.
And we could also copy it to Freeman and Boscola and to the DEP rep and, you know, whatever, so.
Is that part of the motion?
What's that?
Is that part of the motion, who we're sending it to? Is the letter
I
drafted?
can amend my motion to do that.
Is the letter drafted?
Who seconded it?
Who said? I think Laura did. Laura did?
I did.
Change your second.
To also send it to our representatives?
Yes.
Sure. Well, I will second the amended motion.
Do a roll call.
Mr. Gress?
Yes.
Ms. Aptoff Cordero?
Yes.
Mr. Heimbecker?
Yes.
Ms. De Leon?
Yes.
Yes.
Passes 5-0.
Thank you very much. Next, we are on to public comment, agenda and non-agenda items only. So if you have a comment, please come to the podium.
Good. I got a whiff of something, so I'm fine now. All right, don't start yet. I have a lot here. Diane Hollowell, resident and taxpayer. I am going to start off with, I am so glad you don't read the 2 pages of public comment like the last council did. What a waste of tax dollars that was, taking up so much time reading instead of getting to the business that benefits our township. And thank you, Priscilla, for showing the time cards. Much appreciated, so I know how much time I have left. Maybe every week you could do another color. That would be cool. I have to say, I am impressed that our former council member, who now comes to speak at public comment, has toned down his insults to you. Last meeting, he only called you Democrat clowns, stupid, and clapping seals. I remember the times when he called you guys fucking pigs, fat ass, dumb ass, and let's not forget, go set yourself on fire. So I guess things are looking up. And touching on the plastic survey, I have to say I am wearing my 100% cotton shirt, and it is true, cotton clothing is a little hard to find. And I am also not in favor of any types of banning, especially like Muslim banning, TikTok banning, banning climate change. Sorry, those were Trump's bans, not a plastic ban. I'm off here. This council did run on public comment after each topic, but I said it before, it takes one person to ruin it for everyone. And I think it's the same person who keeps mentioning Virginia. Can somebody on council tell me who Virginia is? All right, that same person talks about broken promises. So I'm assuming he must be really upset at our Republican president, broken promises, no new yours, price wars, prices down on day one. I am still waiting for my $2,000 tariff stimulus check. I'm sorry, I'm off topic again. And for those of you who are watching at home, just so you know, there are so many great things that this township has to offer. Out of 40 municipalities in Northampton County, Lower Saucon is the 5th lowest in taxes. There are 35 more townships higher than us. Please remember that. We have an amazing police department, amazing volunteer fire department. We have an amazing park system, 4 new pickleball courts, and don't forget the over $3 million ball field. Nobody else in the municipality has that. We have a shared swimming pool, a compost center, and a library. So speaking of the library, I have been working beautifying the outside there, pulling all the weeds. We're gonna mulch and plant. I was surprised at how many people go there, like of all ages. Like the door, it was swinging, you know, in and out. We have a top-notch school system. And for anybody watching at home too, please check out the website. Kudos to whoever keeps it up. I don't know who it is, but it is amazing, Patty and Stacy. Thank you. There is so much information out there.
Can you wrap it up?
I will. Information about the park, senior citizen resources. It tells you how to contact if you have a lost dog or there's a dead deer in the road, how to dispose of paint cans, movies in the park, how to do a memorial bench. We even have geocaching. So please check out the website. It's amazing.
Thank you, Diane.
Thank you for your comment.
Thank you.
Next person, please.
I'm your king. Lower Saucon needs a new king.
Oh my God.
So, Heil Hitler to the Lower Saucon Township Board. The manager and Gazuzian, the lawyer.
Let's put that on YouTube.
So I'd seen some council at the No Kings rally. Seems to me you're not sure where you live. I live in America. We don't have kings. Well, except for one, Jesus Christ, and I don't care if you believe in religion or not. Seems to me council and its affiliates, Manager Finnegan, Attorney Gazuzian, their act, and they do like kings for Lower Saucon Township. They do act like kings for Lower Saucon Township. At the last council meeting, we had 4 individuals, if I'm not mistaken, that opposed the new international zoning code that you've adopted. When 4 people in the public here, me one of them, rejected it and didn't want anything to do with it. But you passed it anyway. So who's playing king? And yet, it passed anyway. And through address it, ooh, I can't read my own writing. And a fixture, if there were, an Attorney Gazuzian addresses it as in the future, if there are any problems, so you will fix it as they come along. So who of you hates kings better than go look in the mirror? Better go look in the mirror. And their actions on passing new zoning ordinances is not a first in your list of action, because this happened in other meetings, not just last month, where people were against it and bam, you did it anyway. So who's the king? And you sit there with a smug look on your face, keep smirking. So when something comes up with the new ordinances and the international zoning, and something has to come before the board and the people in the public have an issue with something, are they gonna have to pay the township fees to come to the zoning board and file this and file that and paperwork with the township? Or is the township gonna cover the cost because you wanna follow some international bullshit?
Thank you for your comment. Next person, please.
Anne Marie Slavic, Lower Saucon Township. I always find great material to say as I get up here, even if it's like the last minute. Great comment, Mark, about the kings. Priscilla, how long have you been on this council? That makes you a king. Oh, queen, sorry. So I find it funny that the Easton Fish and Game Association representative came here to talk about combining his parcels of the land, and you had a whole slew of people complaining about open space. We don't want open space. We don't want anybody shooting. We don't want anybody archery hunting or practicing in our neighborhood. We don't want any of that in our neighborhood. We don't want, we'd rather have development. Let's have some warehouses down there. Let's get rid of that Easton Fish and Game Association. Our taxpayer, our citizens in this township are borderline crazy. Yeah, I said that. So we don't want a landfill. We don't want Easton Fish and Game. We don't want a cell phone tower. We don't want, what else don't we want? We don't want anything but a data center might be okay. What else do I want to say here? I want to commend Hunter for bringing up the information or bringing up the question about why are we giving Hellertown an open contract so they can charge us whatever the heck they want? Oh, here's a check, here's a bill, just pay us. That sounds like everything that Hellertown does is let's ask Lower Saucon Township for money. And I'm so glad this came up again because it happens over and over again. And Priscilla, you constantly vote for that. Whatever Hellertown needs, and remember what they said at the council meeting a few weeks ago, they're going to be out of money soon. So great questioning, Hunter, and great vote on that one. Because just be careful of your solicitor because he has gotten this council into a lot of lawsuits. So beware of asking him about legal questions. I also like to say the quote from Victoria is classic, and I'm so glad she brought it up, about the consent order and the landfill, and she said it's outside of her control. And she is not comfortable with that. Just remember that, all you taxpayers. It's outside of her control. Again, thanks, Mark, for bringing up that king thing, because this is one of them. The king or the queen decides what the landfill's gonna do, how they're gonna operate, what comes out of the landfill, what goes in the landfill, what trucks are gonna go down the road, what trucks go down that road, what trucks go down up that road. And she's going to decide, and it's out of her control, and she's got a problem with it. So she's gonna send a letter, and she got all her friends to vote for that. She wants to be in control. That's what you voted for, that's what she ran on, and that's what you got. So beware, what else does she wanna?
Wrap it up, please.
Absolutely. What else does she wanna control? Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments?
All right, I just want to, I want to say a lot of things, but I'm really ripped here. I can't believe there was one person on this board had the sense to ask about what I sat here and for 3 minutes told you people. And Steve Gaduzian said, oh no, everything's hunky-dory. Don't worry about it. We also, if you read the darn thing, it also says you signing this agreement, this carries on for perpetuity, and all your respective successors and assignees need to heed by it. That's just the tip of the iceberg. How about you see things in here like, it's automatically gonna renew, and by the way, any outstanding pool pass reimbursement from LST will be paid by us. Of course they will be paid by us. Jeez, so burned I can hardly talk here. All right, let's get down to one, under item one, all whereas. Number two, the Hellertown shall provide, get this, the Hellertown. Did anybody read this, Virginia? The Hellertown. My gosh, this thing is fraught with errors. And said seasonal pool pass fees collected by Lower Saucon residents. Wait a minute, Lower Saucon residents are gonna collect the fees? This thing, no, collected from the Lower Saucon residents. This thing is so loaded with errors, and there's only one person that had the brains to even challenge it. Unfortunately, friend, you're gonna probably get wire brushed by the, your pals on the committee here. And here we are again. Let's go back to it. It's the number 7, whereas the payments reimbursed shall include the sum total of all monies collected from its residents at the resident rate plus the difference between non-residential rate and residential rate of the season pool passes. There is no difference. Why is that even in there? What kind of bird brain put that in there? Nobody will tell us who writes these things, Virginia. Don't look so mystic. I would look mystic if I were you too, because it was probably you. And this is really pathetic. And nobody says anything about it, and you guys all just laugh and smirk. God help us if any big data center comes in, because you will have no idea what's going on. It's really pathetic. I still have 17 seconds. Thank you for the pointer. I'll put it up here. Thank you for not leaving the lights on, which I'd asked for before because you can't see the darn board. And thank you for the clicker, which you did add, okay? So kudos where they are deserved. And I'll put them right back up here.
Thank
It's
you
really
for
hard
your
for the public to do anything here with you people.
Next comment,
And,
please.
by the way,
Next.
I'll invoke my 30 seconds more.
Next comment, please.
The bottom line is that Chad here made a statement about why we're here till
Mr.
4:30,
Glenn, you're out of
3:30
order.
in the morning. The reason is because Gudosian wouldn't talk to us when we knew we had a lawsuit and all the cops were in there. And when I asked Priscilla, are you coming back at 3:30 in the morning when they all went in the back room? She says, I don't think so. And they did. And she knew I did. Look it up, Priscilla.
Next commenter, please.
Thank you for allowing me to speak the extra 2 minutes.
Going once, twice. Seeing nobody else. Moving on to council reports. Priscilla, would you like to go first?
Yes, thank you. I attended Lower Saucon Township Historic Committee and Heritage Day Planning meeting on March 23rd. I also attended the Hellertown Library meeting on March 24th and attended a Saucon Valley Conservancy meeting on April 6th. And I want to say thank you to Stacy, who worked very, very hard. She's not listening. Stacy. Yes. Hi. I just want to thank you for doing the new format. And I know you took a lot of time and to do it, so. And that's all I have.
Okay.
Thank you. Hunter?
My turn. Thanks to everyone who stuck around this late. It's a relatively late one compared to how late the meetings have been going. But other than that, nothing to report. Have a good night.
Laura?
I will go. Yeah, just 2 things. So Chad will talk more probably about EAC. What did I want to mention for EAC? We had our meeting last night, and I wanted to talk about, I guess it was too soon to get onto this agenda, but we did request to appoint a new non-voting member. I don't think it actually has to come to council because it's a non-voting member. So we're adding a person from our planning commission to our EAC board. So we're looking forward to that. And let's see. There was some discussion, and I guess the police chief had already left, but we would like to bring it up to his attention about a lot of excessive dumping along Countryside Lane and Lower Saucon Road at night. It's because they do road cleanups, and now they're getting like a lot of large items that turn up overnight. So I don't know if there's trail cams or something we can use, or more following people around out there at night. I don't know. And also the Fire Services Executive Committee, we met on April 9th. They are having a pre-construction meeting with the fire truck building company in the end of July. And after they do that, I guess the thing starts getting built. So they're anticipating we may have our new pumper truck that we ordered in probably by July of 2027. So it's coming a little sooner than we thought, but that's probably a good thing, I think. That's all I had.
Thank you, Laura. Chad?
All right. Today is tax day, everybody, April 15th. Just a reminder, if you haven't mailed it in already, you might be a little late. But I got a joke for you.
The main post office in Allentown is
Are you
probably
ready?
still open.
Why does Sherlock Holmes always get a refund? Because he's a master of deductions. Come on. It's a good one. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. March 23rd, Rail Trail Commission. My first time, we met at Hellertown Borough. We talked about mile markers that are being updated. We're in possession of those. The trail extension to Bethlehem. The surveyor flags are going up. They're having a groundbreaking in 26 this year, ribbon cutting next year. The native plant garden that's at the Reading Drive Trailhead. We are looking for some volunteers perhaps that will help with that maintenance. There's geology kiosks that are in process. I think they have the metal tags that they're going to replace there. And then the signs that are actually within Heller with the borough along the marsh, those have been, the designs have been completed and sponsors obtained. So that's in process of getting that worked out. They are also working on an app, which was kind of cool. GPS coordinates, so you can be on the rail trail with an app and find facilities along the way. I thought that was pretty neat.
Like historic sites and like
What's that?
restaurants and historic sites and stuff.
I think it's gonna have extra, connections, but that would, okay. So that's.
Can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
It would be great if they did that and each of the, like the gristmill and the homestead and whatever would add like language, to it, create a couple paragraphs, I don't know how that would work, but, it would give them some idea of the history of our area. As new people move here and think we live in Bethlehem.
So attractions.
Yes.
And historical
Right.
data in the app.
What's that other property along the trail in Hellertown? That large piece of property.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll bring it up to them. Okay. What else did I do that same day? Then I came here for the Heritage Day planning. So we're getting close on that. That's going to be, again, May 16th, 10:30 to 3:30. Come to the Heller Homestead first. Get a drink from Christmas City.
Right.
And then you can walk down to the grist mill. Okay? Start at the homestead. Because the grist mill's going to go later. So do the homestead first. And I'll be there. So check me out. We'll have some fun. 3:25, I attended a webinar on green stormwater infrastructure from PSATs. That was very informative. They had a poll that was then sent to the township, which we completed, I believe, and sent that back. So thank you, Jay, for that, and the rest of the administration on getting that ready. They were doing a survey across the Commonwealth to try to figure out what ordinances existed saldo requirements regarding green stormwater. So you can have gray stormwater, which is concrete and structures like that, and you can have green stormwater, which is native plants and bioretention ponds and native rain gardens and things like that. So you can try to approach the problem solving in a different way. Then on the 26th, I was at the Greater Lehigh Valley Chamber of Commerce Mayors and Municipal Officials Reception. Victoria was there. We had a good time, nice dinner. Who won? Mayor of the Year was Rosetto in Northampton County. I forget her name. But it was room packed with all the municipal leaders. We had the 3 mayors from Allentown, Bethlehem Easton, and it was a good event with a lot of business and networking, representing the township there. March 29th, the Environmental Advisory Committee, we did a road cleanup over on Reading Drive, and we pulled out probably about 5 garbage bags, a refrigerator, and a water heater off of about a mile of road-ish. It's about a mile, maybe.
Probably.
So that was a lot of trash that we pulled out of that space. I can't believe it. How that stuff ends up on the side of the road, just like you're saying. And I saw some pictures at the EAC meeting last night. Literally, there's piles of light bulbs, kids, baby seats, things. People just, I don't understand what it is. They think it's an old country road with no lights on it. They can just come out here and do whatever they want. And it's really unfortunate because then we have to bear the burden of cleaning it up. Also EAC related, the Lehigh Valley EAC Network had a steering committee meeting on March 31st. I'm involved with that organization. We're trying to pull again together Lehigh, Northampton, Carbon, Monroe, Berks, Bucks, counties, municipalities, so that our environmental committees all collaborate and work together. So we had our steering committee. I've been working on a Google Drive and a calendar of events that shares all of the environmental committees from all the different townships and cities and boroughs. We have a website that I've been putting together for them on that, so there's been some progress on that. April 7th, I attended a Transportation Research Board committee meeting on asset performance and risk management and learned a little bit more about using artificial intelligence for asset management on roadway safety devices. April 13th was the Parks and Rec Board, which was here. That was Monday. I was here Monday. I got 3 nights in a row here. I'm really happy to be at the township. We had a good discussion on all the different parks. Let's see. And then again, the thing that I wanted to point out from this was the movies. Do we have that? The movies in the park? Yeah, you want to bring that? Can you bring that back up? June 26th at Town Hall. I think it's Zootopia. July 17th at Steel City, Zootopia 2. And then August 21st at Polk Valley will be the Lilo and Stitch movie. We'll pull that up for you guys real quick while I'm wrapping that up. And we're working on, what was the other thing? Oh, orienteering an event. That might be interesting for scouts. I see one sitting in the room here, and I know that you were an Eagle Scout, right? So there's this DVOA, Delaware Valley Orienteering Association, and they're sniffing out right now if the Sandra Yerger Park may qualify as an orienteering venue to host that perhaps in the fall. And that might go towards a badge that you guys can earn. So we're trying to work on that, get that together. All right, and then last night, Tuesday night, we had the EAC meeting. Where are my notes on that one? What did we talk about? You talked about some of the stuff. We're working on, we could talk about recycling. Things to not put in your recycling container.
Yeah, we could post that.
Yeah, we're gonna post this on the social media. Hoses, automotive parts, wood, trees, electronics, appliances, construction, demolition debris, tarps, propane canisters, tools, nails, building materials, plastic, metal banding, and strapping, bed sheets, jeans, clothes. So try to clean up what we're putting in our recycling stream, which brings me to something that I wanted to bring to the attention of the solicitor and Jay as well. I'm gonna ask for your review on this. When I was at the PSATS boot camp, we talked about some requirements, and Act 101, municipal recycling requirements for Pennsylvania Municipal Waste Planning, Recycling, and Waste Reduction Act, Act 101, outlines requirements for large municipalities to recycle. Municipalities other than counties with a population of 10,000 or more people, which I believe we qualify as, are mandated to recycle. So I'm gonna provide this to you along with our list of solid waste haulers, and I would appreciate, could you hand that down, please? A review, and to make sure that we're in compliance with Act 101 and that the haulers on there provides for that as well. And I wasn't gonna email you because I know you get a lot of emails, so I was just gonna do it live. And then there's also another one that I'm gonna send down your way, because last time we talked about the International Property Maintenance Code, and I made a comment about trying to motivate property owners, residents, to convert their lawns into meadows, and my concerns that maybe that code might be a little restrictive on that. I'm providing for your review a community wildlife habitat. It's a guide to passing wildlife-friendly property maintenance ordinances with some sample ordinances in here on how we can maybe achieve zones on properties that can be dedicated to pollinator habitats, native species, wildflowers that do not violate the intent of the International Property Maintenance Code, where it would be, a blight situation. So we got to find a balance in that. All right. I think that's everything. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Chad. I'm just gonna,
have a good night.
You all have provided so much information. I was with Laura at the Fire Services Executive Committee. I still want to encourage people to make sure you register your home with the fire department's new tool. I need to do that myself, but it's a very important thing if you'd like to make sure that they know everything about your home in the event of an emergency, especially if you have loved ones, disabled people, or you have pets. This is it's like the new modern way that they can have that information. There's also ride-alongs going on. I think there's the Touch-a-Truck that the chief mentioned, but I believe it's in conjunction with Lower Saucon Fire Rescue as like a joint event, as I recall. So I encourage our residents to participate in that. The auxiliary is having a bingo thing. So please check out their website and social media to follow along with those things. Like Chad said, I attended the event at the end of March. We have the landfill committee meeting tomorrow. The DEP is attending. That's a carryover from the January meeting, so additional questions and more information can be provided from them, not only on the consent decree, but just in general, any questions that anybody may have. I don't have anything else. I know we've been here for a while, so I'm going to turn it over to Acting Township Manager Jay Finnegan.
Just to clarify a point that the chief made earlier, National Night Out is August 4th at the town park. As he mentioned, Touch-a-Truck is this Saturday from 10 to 1 outside. We're going to have fire trucks, police trucks, and public works vehicles, as well as, I believe, EMS. The spring cleanup at Bethlehem Landfill is April 25th from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Coupons are available at the town hall. Compost Center will open Saturday, April 25th, on Saturday, starting, they will be open from 9 to 10, 9 to 1. And then Friday hours will commence on June 12th. They will not be open July 3rd or 4th. We beat up Heritage Day pretty good. The Meadows Road Bridge paving approaches should be paved within the next couple of weeks, and I would expect the bridge itself to be open up by mid-May, which would be ahead of schedule. Earlier,
That's a big one.
what's a big bridge?
That's a big change in the township.
Right.
People are not gonna, they forgot about that.
I'm sure they'll find it.
They're gonna find it.
Just point out a little known fact. It was good earlier this evening that we honored Lower Saucon Fire Rescue, the Police Department, and Dewey EMS, but a little known fact about Public Works, Homeland Security Presidential Directive Number 5, issued by President George W. Bush in 2003, mandated that public work employees are now included in the category of first responder. That's all I have for my report.
Very nice. Steve?
I have nothing, thank you.
Our engineer has gone home. I am moving to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved.
Okay, the time is 10 o'clock, 10:06. Good night, everybody.
Good night.